Of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
We're in and rolling on a Monday, October 17, 2022 edition of Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. What a weekend. I literally can't begin to explain what this college football weekend was. I mean, unbelievable to see start to finish. Of course, Tennessee gets the massive upset over Alabama, 52-49. We have the goalposts in the Tennessee River. But, we'll get to all that. But unbelievable to see what this weekend was from a sports perspective. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. I am former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn on Twitter at G_Kuhn71. Producing the program is Bryant Dacus on Twitter at Bryant_Dacus. Bryant, you have a good weekend?
It was a fantastic weekend.
Yeah. I had a pretty hot and cold weekend. It was fun though. It was fun to see all that football on. And my partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. Big win this weekend. Finally got over top on Auburn, but he is Brett Stats Norsworthy on Twitter at Brett Norsworthy. Brett, hello.
Good afternoon, men. And Separation Saturday turned into Epic Saturday. I don't want to be that guy, but it was as good as I can ever remember.
Yeah, ever and never a long time. But that was the two games playing side by side, Tennessee and Alabama and Oklahoma State and TCU. It's a shame they were running side by side. My previous channel button was working overtime.
And then when we were all comatose, USC and Utah.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? There was some from an officiating standpoint, there was some questionable stuff going on. Not only in the Tigers game, we'll talk about the Tigers game losing 4 OT. 47-45, but in that game in particular, Alabama and Tennessee, there was some suspect refereeing going on, just all over the place. Bizarre situation.
Gabe, and I don't have an answer for this, and I just know that I don't like how college football overtime, how we do it. I don't have a better idea though. I would love at the text line 901-360-8255. Give me this. Which one do you prefer best, NFL or college? And for college, if you don't like it like I do, what would you do? How would you change it?
Well, the issue with NFL is the ties, of course, right? Like, I don't think in college football we want ties. We would want that to continue, whether it's a time period or whatever. I don't really like the 2-point back and forth. I just don't think that's real football. I don't see why we can't, and I guess you're trying to shorten games. I don't see why we can't just do another overtime where you have to go for 2 like you do in the second overtime. I don't see why that can't be the option. But that's a good question. 901-360-8255. We want to know that. But unreasonably good Saturday, even Sunday as well. But overreactions, we have winners from the weekend. We'll do that around 4:45. Talk with David Cobb at 4:30 about what we saw, including his alma mater. I mean, that game was – nothing was going to beat it, and it ended at about 6. Started at 2:30, but the goalpost coming down into the Tennessee River. Tennessee wins that ball game.
It looked like a movie.
Alabama 52-49. We'll have more on that in just a second. Around 3:30, we're going to talk to Memphis running back Asa Martin as we get our Tiger Player Week. And around 5 o'clock, Evan Barnes will join us from the CA after that brutal loss, 47-45 again in 4 overtimes. After another lead blown, 17-0. 17
and to Michael Cole at 4:30 from the CA.
Yeah. I was going to mention that. Also, Grizzlies opening week. Knicks game on Wednesday, FedEx Forum. To Michael Cole will join us to preview that. And we'll have to talk about the Brandon Clark extension over the weekend because there's some more extensions on the horizon. They'll see what they do with Dylan Brooks. Next year, Desmond Bain will be eligible. He'll probably fetch a whole lot of money. We'll see what that is going to entail. And then 5:30, we will get to our Monday Night Football preview and our favorite 4 as the Chargers host the Broncos tonight.
Yeah, we got to get down ballot for me for the Broncos. We've done the Broncos once, so we're really doing 5 through 8 today. I went Peyton, Steve Atwater, John Elway, Terrell Davis the first go-around. It was hard for me to find 5 through 8, but I did. I don't know how much I loved them. I don't think I had any jerseys or any posters up of any of them.
Yeah, no. Once you get to 5 through 8, if it's not the team that you love.
If it's not your team.
Yeah, it's gonna be It's going to be kind of
or one of those name brand teams. Gabe, I'm going to say this when we have DeMichael on, and I'm going to ask him if I think he's going to concur. I think we'll see. We're getting ready to start the 22nd year of the Memphis Grizzlies Wednesday night. Gabe, I don't know that I can ever remember a single going into a year where the Grizzlies had their act together like this. They top to bottom, A to Z, front office on the court, marketing, sales, TV, broadcast, radio, community outreach. I don't know that they've ever entered into a year having their stuff together like this.
Yeah.
It is really a franchise really, a lot of people can model.
And, you look at ticket prices and everything else. I mean, making money hand over fist, probably more than they ever have. You have a main attraction. Now, from an on-court perspective, we'll talk to DeMichael. What's it going to look like to start the year? Jaren Jackson Jr., I believe, had a positive update in regards to his injury, his foot injury. But we'll see what that entails. But, no, I agree with it. I mean, this front office and what they've been able to do, the guys on the team, how much they seem to like each other.
Best years are ahead, no doubt.
It feels nice. It feels good. It does. Right? Like you can just always sort of lean back and
I don't know that we should, but it makes me proud. I don't know that it should, or if it didn't, if it matters, and if it does it matter? But they do.
But the confidence level, like you could just sort of sit back and this team is a 45-plus win team. That's sort of how you feel about it, right? And I don't know how things go with injuries and yada, yada, yada. Those things occur during the year, but just the confidence level in this Grizzlies team going into this year is massive. And we'll talk to Michael about that at 4:30. Now, our listener line is 901-360-8255. Hit us up. Watch us live also. See our bright, smiling faces. And message us on our social, Sports56WHBQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and go to our website, sports56WHBQ.com. Tennessee versus Bama. I can't get over it, Brett. That was an instant classic. I mean, immediately, just watching it, like sometimes you don't know till after. Okay, I'm watching a absolute classic. In the moment,
sweet test of time.
Once we got into the third quarter, I go, this is gonna be replayed on SEC Network, on ESPN News, on they don't have ESPN Classic anymore, but if they did, it'd be replayed on there consistently throughout the year. But 52-49 Tennessee, they snapped their 15-game losing streak to Alabama. The goalposts come down. They're in the Tennessee River. The last time Bama gave up 52 points. Get this. This stat is mind-boggling.
And I've already checked with some of my friends from this school.
Last time they gave up 52 points, at least 52 points, was 1907 versus Sewanee.
Yeah. Way to go, Sewanee.
Is how that ended.
Way to go, Sewanee Tigers.
But in this game, Brett, just watching it early, Tennessee showed early and often that they could win the game. They were up 28-10 in the second quarter. Jalen Hyatt was rolling. He ended the game with 6 catches, 275 TDs. Bama secondary had 0 answers, and they never really found any answers.
No pass rush, no coverage. They couldn't rush the quarterback. They couldn't cover him. They couldn't cover him with man. They couldn't cover him nickel. They couldn't cover him dime. They couldn't cover
nothing.
Zone, nothing.
What's bizarre?
Crossing patterns, goes, 7s, 9s, everything.
Wasn't it bizarre, though? At some point with Jalen Hyatt, 6 catches, 5 of them for TDs. He had a long of 70-something. At some point, you just say, let's not let number 11 beat us over top. Let's not let him beat us over top. They couldn't do it. They were getting absolutely pulverized in the secondary. And I think they have enough talent. I just don't know scheme-wise how much they were ready for the talent that Tennessee was going to bring at them. And this was Tennessee without Cedric Tillman. I mean,
that's right.
This Bama team, we knew that they were gettable, but that secondary and that defensive performance was
it
was historically embarrassing. Let's be honest.
Gabe, it was the confusion, the muttering to each other. I don't know if I'm not going to say finger pointing, just the confusion. And Gabe, it is the hand-picked best in the country.
Yep.
I want that one. I want that one. I want that one. We need that one. It's the hand-picked best in the country, and they are coached by the best defensive back coach in the history of the sport, Nick Saban, and the best head coach in the history of the sport, Nick Saban.
And when we give him credit for winning games, that we think that they may be gettable in, when we give him credit for winning all these national championships, he's the best coach in college football history, arguably. We do have to give him a little bit of he's got to have accountability for this. I mean, that's the truth.
He sure
of
does.
It. And they just weren't ready. Pete Golding didn't have them ready, and there's no excuse for it.
Now, Tennessee was the better team.
Yes.
I want to give all due credit to the Big Orange. I even contend this. I hope Tennessee fans hear all I say about this. I even contend this. I don't think Tennessee threw their A game at them. There were some drops. There were some open guys. The gift touchdown. Tennessee, if Tennessee had played the A game, it would have been a rout. But you're right. The criticism is deserved for Nick Saban in this game and in this season.
Yep.
That was a mess at Austin. Texas should have won. A&M having a chance to come back against them. The end of the second quarter, into the third quarter at Fayetteville. This has been a mess.
Yep. And to look at a mess, it's kind of funny, though, when we think about Alabama as a mess. It's one loss on the road against the number 6 team in the country. That's
when
a
you set
bar.
that high bar.
I get it. Mm-hmm. I get it. But also, I just look at this team mentally. Not near as locked in as Bama teams as they're 108 before that game. They were 118th in penalty yardage given up in that game. 17 penalties, 130 yards. Quandarius Robinson probably will never see the field again after what he did on that punt. He touched the ball and gave Tennessee a free possession. This Bama team is not near as locked in as teams in the past. And I think back to the offseason, and we always and we know the rat poison conversation we always have with Nick Saban. Did he create his own rat poison talking about, well, last year was a rebuilding year.
Great
and this
question,
year, coming
Gabe.
into
Woo,
this year,
great.
We're ready to go. This is not, we're rebuilt. I mean, did you create your own bed that you're lying in right now? I have never seen a Bama team as prone to mistakes as this one. And I don't understand why.
And Bama finally gets it right at kicker, and now Will Reichard coming undone a little bit the last few weeks.
Yeah, and people want to go after him. Kicking a 46-yarder on the road in Neyland, that's always going to be tough. And once he missed that, you knew that Tennessee in 2 plays was going to be able to get up there into field goal position. I'll say this, though. When we look at this the way this game ended, I should say, 49-42 is when Bama returned the fumble. That drive coming down for Tennessee, they got gifted a few things there, refereeing wise. And listen, there's bang plays, people make mistakes, but that defensive pass interference, where Kool-Aid McKinstry ended up getting the INT, was pretty ticky-tack. Also,
see, I thought he was draped all over him. I thought it was proper.
Also, Brian Branch, that defensive pass interference on 3rd and 6. Now, they would have had another down to go get it, theoretically. But that didn't look like much there. That was certainly a ticky-tack call. So there were some things there on that last drive that got me, but that's not the reason that Alabama lost this game.
Tennessee was better.
They lost the game because they couldn't cover anybody over top, especially Jalen Hyatt, and they couldn't they couldn't get themselves together. Too many penalties. Bryce Young was an anti-issue, though. That was probably the best game I've seen him play as a collegiate, and that's saying something.
440. What was his final passing yards?
445.
445. 445 and lose. Score 49 and lose. An epic Tennessee-Alabama third Saturday in October, 52-49.
Oh, 455. I apologize.
450. General Neyland and Coach Bryant could not recognize that game. I don't know that Gene Stallings and Johnny Majors could recognize that game.
Just an Alabama defense has never been that bad.
And we know Mike Dubose couldn't recognize it.
But Bryce Young, that sort of put him over the top for me is so far in college football when we talk about NFL draft prospects, that put him over the top for me. He was so cool, calm, collected, even with his shoulder issue. 35 for 52, 455, 2 TDs, didn't have much of a running game going. Wide receivers couldn't. I don't know what it is about the wide receivers with Alabama. You knew there was going to be a drop-off, but not
There's
this
not
big.
a go-to guy.
They can't catch. They can't catch the ball. Cameron Latu is the only guy, really, and Jahmyr Gibbs are the only guys that you can consistently count upon.
basketball, we call it, get me a bucket guy. There's not a Bama, get me a reception guy. There's not, Gabe. But now Saturday ends Bryce Young's hopes of joining Archie Griffin. He's not going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Wait, you're counting him out after that?
Yeah, because Hendon Hooker's in the lead.
Well, Hendon Hooker's in the lead. Now this is the conversation we need to have when we talk with David Cobb. Who do you trust more to win out? Tennessee or Alabama? Tennessee still has Kentucky at home, and then they're going to have Georgia on the road. And Alabama, I listen, I understand that they have Mississippi State at home. They're going to have to go on the road against Ole Miss on November 12th. I just wonder, who do you think is more prone to a loss down the stretch of the season? Is it still Bama to you, or do you think Tennessee against Georgia, dealing with Kentucky?
We'll get to all that this hour of our show, brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. It's at 2600 Ridgeway, and it's online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models. Closing out those as the 2023s really starting to take over, and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 and the 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Now, let me get out ahead of this because I know what's going to happen since I brought up the last drive where Tennessee came down and ended up tying the game. I talked about defensive pass interference. I have said that Tennessee was the better team on Saturday. And also, I said that is not the full reason that Alabama lost. Now, do I bring it up because it's part of the game? Yes. It happened. We watched it, right? There was a lot of controversy. That's why I bring it up. I want to get ahead of that before we start getting an unreasonable amount of discussion and text on that. Now, top story of the day for me is the big matchups. We saw separation Saturday, and boy, Michigan separated, didn't they? Oh, my gosh. Ran all over Penn State, 418 yards, 4 TDs. Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards are a hell of a 1-2 punch. Penn State put themselves out of question when it comes to college football playoff. And also James Franklin losing another game like that. Come on. Syracuse, NC State was great. NC State, we learned before the game, no Devin Leary, out for the year. NC State couldn't do a thing offensively. Syracuse won that one 24-9. And by the way, I have to discuss this at some point during the show. So there are a few Twitters that I follow just because I love the tweets. Magic Johnson, hilarious, right? Mm-hmm. I found one of my favorite Twitters on the World Wide Web. Sean Tucker, the running back for Syracuse. Have you seen this? He's the Magic Johnson of college football. I'll mention that later, and I'll tell you what he tweets out. TCU versus Oklahoma State. It was a shame that ran beside that Alabama UT game that we talked about. 43-40 TCU in 2 OTs. TCU was down 24-7 at one point. We're going to have to start giving credit where credit's due to TCU rebuilding after Gary Patterson is out, and also Utah-USC late 43-42. Utah puts USC, I don't know, completely out of the question. A lot of things have to happen for them to put themselves back into the college football playoff conversation. But they're going to have to be untouched down the stretch of the season if they want to stay there. But that Tennessee-Bama game, I can't say enough about it. But this separation Saturday, that's my top story. It lived up to the billing.
A lot of questions around James Franklin. He just hadn't won anything big at Penn State. He leads the world in bro hugs. He leads the world in sayings. He's love all, be all, sunshine and daffodils. Hadn't been a whole lot of winning. My top story, it was UT's time. And mostly outplayed Bama all day. Bama looked like the aging boxer trying to hang on for that split decision just because the judges really liked him more than they did the opponent. They were reeling all day, rallied late, and then a flurry knocked them out. And at the end, Tennessee, they prevailed. This portion of the Bama dynasty seems to be, if not ending, certainly abating for Coach Nick Saban. Penalties, poorly coached, no pass rush, no pass protect. Good, not great, was Will Anderson. Yeah, I said it. Will Anderson probably be the number 1 pick in the draft. He's good. He hadn't been great this year. It was UT's time, and they cash it in, and the party's still going. I wish somebody would put a tracker on the goalpost. Where have they floated to in the river?
Apparently, they have signed up a scuba dive team to go find them, go retrieve them. The other thing that bothers me, hold it. They
don't float, they sink?
They turns out, yeah. I do have to bring this up because I thought this was stupid. I thought it was very stupid. The Tennessee Athletics page putting out a GoFundMe basically for $150,000 for the goalpost. Shut up.
Yeah.
And I had somebody respond to me because I said, "What were they?" I said, "What were they diamond encrusted?" Because obviously they get the $100,000 fines. They have to pay that. There is 0%. There is a 0% chance.
CBS wants 2 cameras.
25. You're telling me it's $25,000 per goalpost? Get out of here.
I think they got to cut a check to CBS for those cameras.
Oh, maybe. I guess there's some potential for that. But somebody said, well, $25,000 sounds very reasonable for a goalpost. $50,000 together? No, it doesn't. What do you think? You think the University of Tennessee pays $25,000 per field goal?
If they do, they got overcharged.
Exactly. My gosh, let me get into selling field goal posts in that case.
Not top story of the day.
Tigers lose again at ECU, 4-3 now. Lose 47-45 in the fourth overtime once they got to dueling 2-point conversions. I mean, they got up early again.
Good feeling coming.
17-0, but at that, even when it was 17-0, I think there's a lot of Tiger fans. I mean, a lot of former players are starting to speak up. I'll talk about that later when we discuss this game at length. But that 17-0 lead felt inevitable. It felt inevitable that they were going to give that up, and they did. They had multiple opportunities to win the game. The second OT run play to Asa Martin, we'll talk to him in a second and sort of get his thoughts and what happened on that play call in particular. But that they didn't get through on a 2-point conversion that would have won the game. The 3 overtime, they scored their 2-point conversion. All they had to do was make a tackle on Keaton Mitchell, who killed them in the second half of that game. And Keaton Mitchell got by, gets in the end zone for a 2-point conversion. I thought they were resilient at the end, but it didn't end well. It did not end well. And this now calls into question a lot about the Ryan Silverfield era. How many people are going to be in the stands now? What is going to happen with this team? Can they respond? Because it has been a trend from the beginning of 2021 till now of giving up these massive leads that you accrue early. So you keep an eye on it and you wonder what's going on. But there are not a lot of fans on the side of Ryan Silverfield at this point, and I think it's understandable.
My not top story, Saturday was a 10 out of 10 for college football from 11 a.m. till midnight, and it was the best Saturday of games in a year that has not missed. Every single weekend has felt either at or near a 10. Saturday blew it through the roof. It was. And for any of those out there that think a 12 or 16 team playoff would diminish that, they couldn't be more wrong. Right now, it would be, if you had a 5 versus 12, it would be Clemson hosting USC. A 6 versus 11 would be Bama hosting Oklahoma State. 7 versus 10 would be Ole Miss and Oregon and Oxford. And an 8 versus 9 would be TCU versus UCLA. You think that's going to diminish anything?
Hell no.
You know
where I've been the entire time. But that top four.
I want to quit messing around with 12. Let's go to 16 and do it now.
I get a kick out of the top 4 this week, though. Georgia, Ohio State, and then at 3, I know Vols fans are just about as happy as they possibly could be to get to number 3, and then 4, Michigan. But 2 SEC, 2 Big Ten right there in the top 4.
I would have voted Tennessee. I'm not going to get too exercised over weekly polls no matter what, but I would have voted Tennessee 1. I think their body of work is better than either Ohio State or Georgia, but it will all play out. You keep winning.
Yep.
I promise you it will play out. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Tip off the Grizzly season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. New customers, you get $150 in free bets. That's guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just use promo code SPORTS56 at sign up. Plus, all customers get 3 months of NBA League Pass when they make a $5 bet on the NBA courtesy of FanDuel. Then you can watch all the action as you bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to totals, and best of all, you get paid fast instantly when you win. So don't miss your chance to get $150 in free bets plus 3 months of NBA League Pass with promo code SPORTS56. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Memphis Grizzlies. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New customers, first online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets expire in 14 days. Existing customers, $5 NBA wager required. Limit one pass per customer across both offers. Restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See full terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. NBA League Pass local blackout restrictions do apply.
Now, Tigers, again, we've talked about it, are 4-3, drop another one to ECU on the road, 47-45. But Asa Martin, who's a transfer from Auburn, had a very, very good game. Two TDs, 59-yard rushing, also caught a couple of passes. And we'll catch up with him right here after the break.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
It's time to get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike for some falling prices. Book your next adventure with 27 combined MPG in our 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $359 a month or $26,095. Get off-road, snow, ice, or everyday driving in 2023 Eclipse Cross. We Gossett, $399 a month or $28,880. Or get 7 seating capacity in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett at $419 a month or $31,095. And always get peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months, 500 military rebate. Sport NUO 19221, MSRP 26845. Eclipse PC 005115, MSRP 29380. Outlander NZO 86720, MSRP 31595. PF 695. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/22. Dealer stock only.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios. Grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers. Everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
So what if summer's coming to a close? It'll be back, and you'll be ready with a new spa. Why's that? Because the world's biggest spa sale is happening right now at Family Leisure. Right now, through October the 2nd, you will get the best ever prices on spas. Family Leisure has a large selection of spas still in stock and ready to ship, and up to 30% off. Yes, 30% off in-stock spas. You want a swim spa? Now's the time to buy with huge discounts just for you. Special financing is available. Plus, you can get free upgrades on select spas. Just ask about it. Family Leisure also has fantastic deals on saunas and massage chairs. So, while summer is coming to a close, you should be opening up to a new spa during the world's biggest spa sale happening right now through October the 2nd at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Sure, the name may be Sunrise, but let's not forget that Sunrise on Jefferson also serves fantastic lunches, prepared the Sunrise way, fast, fresh, and just for you. Any great restaurant lunch menu starts with a great burger, and Sunrise is no exception. Sunrise's bacon cheeseburger has everything you'd expect in a great burger, including a house-made special sauce and house-made pickles. Not a lot of places can boast that. If you can't make it to Sunrise for breakfast, then swing by later for a Sunrise lunch.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Arch architectural shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Open the door, sit in the seat, turn the key, and go.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Asa Martin is a senior running back at the University of Memphis. 2 TDs the other night in Greenville at the loss to East Carolina. But he is from Alabama, and he joins us now at the Asa Martin _ on Twitter is where you can find him. Asa, how are you, man? You doing well?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just finished getting a little treatment from the game the other night. I got to keep my body fresh, so.
No question about it. No question.
Asa, congratulations on how hard you played. I know the result wasn't what you wanted, but you and your teammates, y'all played. You know what's off. And I want to start there about the overtime rule. Was that the first college overtime you've been in? And do you like how it plays out? Because at the end of the game, everybody's exhausted, especially the big guys. The linemen are zombies.
Exactly. That was my first overtime game, and just how it went. I am a fan of it. I mean, after the second overtime, you go straight to 2-point plays, and I really thought at that point, man, like we're it's over. Like we're going to win this. We practice 2-point plays and 7 shots just about every Tuesday at practice. So, I mean, that's something that we've been doing, really since the season started, and I feel like we have really good plays that are, already set, and we run those every week. So I really thought that, when we got to that second overtime, that we'd go ahead and pull away with it. Unfortunately, we didn't. But I mean, I'm a fan of the overtime rules. I am a fan of them.
So in that second overtime, obviously that's a play that's coming under a lot of conversation in Memphis circles in general. What did you think of that play call? What was it exactly? How did it all play out? I believe Coach Silverfield said it was an RPO.
It was an RPO. It was we didn't get quite the look we wanted. We, with Javon motioned in, and we didn't get the look we wanted. So once we motioned and they zoned it off, we pretty well Seth, and just as the play went, Seth knew that pretty much he'd have to hand the ball off. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a running, natural running back. I'm thinking that I should have got in at all times, but I mean, maybe if we got him a little more push, or maybe if I'm able to see the right defensive tackle coming in a little more, and I could maybe veer back to the left a little quicker than the ball game's over. But I mean, it's a play call that we were banking on to get a look. We didn't really get that look, so just I had to try to improvise and make the best of the play.
Mm-hmm. So, no question, and I get it. There's tough looks. You don't get. Sometimes the other team comes out and they look that makes you uncomfortable, and that's just life. That's football in general. Now, 2 losses now in a row. The ending has been brutal. It's been tough to take, and I've been there before. I've done that. What's the messaging from the coaches? And I know it can't just be from the coaches, from the captains on the team, from the guys in your positions who have been around, seniors, know this game. What's the messaging been like? And do you think you guys have your heads put on straight to go down this stretch run at the end of the season?
I do. Like, if I want to be in a position with anyone else, I want to be in a position with this team. I think we're a really resilient group. a group of guys is, you have some guys that've been playing football for, 3 and 4 years. So
right.
a really experienced group. And I just think like we're just keeping the guys, like keeping trying to stick together, just keeping everything positive. Just trying to keep like a, of course, everybody wants a bowl game, but still trying to put in our minds that like maybe we can still go win this thing. Of course, we go down to Tulane this week and handle the business, do what we have to do, and maybe a couple of other games fall our way, and we're able to get back in the race of it. But just trying to keep the guys together and let the guys like the season's not over, so
right.
Let's stick together, keep going out winning ball games, and just keep playing Memphis Tiger football.
Asa, I love to hear that spirit in your voice. You do not sound, the scoreboard came up short, but you do not sound defeated. Gabe knows the feeling. You know the feeling better than anyone. For as disappointed as the fans are, as mad as the message boards and the talk shows and fans are, you and your teammates and those coaches, y'all are hurting 100 times more than the biggest fan.
100%, 100%. I mean, it's really tough, coming off of 2 losses like that, in which games that those are crucial games, and like used to been our rival. We always want to go out and beat those guys. Just to have that game slip out of our hands and come back, and this one kind of end in the same fashion. It's really tough. But I think the guys we have in our locker room are resilient, and we'll keep fighting and keep just playing ball, and I think we'll get this thing turned around.
No question about it. Now, a little bit about you. You come from Alabama, 4-star recruit, went to Auburn out of high school, and then you transferred here to the University of Memphis, I believe in that Cotton Bowl year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Now, you're from Alabama. I know that you probably wanted to go to Auburn for quite a while. What was the transition like from Auburn to the University of Memphis, and mentally, how was it for you?
Mentally, I mean, it was pretty similar. If you're talking, football wise,
right.
Learning the offense and those type of things. Coach Norvell, when I first came in, 2019, Coach Norvell and Coach Malzahn run systems that are really similar. So, for me to come in, it wasn't much to pick up on. Of course, every offense has its different tweaks and things like that. But it wasn't as hard to come in and pick up the offense and just learn the scheme and what at the end of the day what we're trying to get accomplished. So. It was, a really nice transition, just playing the spread, coming spread offense to spread offense. So I would give that, just the offensive scheme of today's game.
Mm-hmm.
You could even say, Asa, of these last 2 heartbreaking losses, maybe the best Tiger football has been played in those 2 games. Maybe better than the 4-1. That's what's so aggravating, and so the finality of that darn scoreboard.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so hard and just gut wrenching for us. It's like, man, we wanted to play our best. We wanted to start playing our best ball in conference play, and we come out and in my eyes, we should have, stumped on. We got up early on both teams. We should have went ahead and stumped. Just put the foot on the throat. Went ahead and just, got the game over with. But I mean, the games ended how they did, but just we felt like we were playing really good football, and for those games just to end like that, it was really hard. But in life that happens sometimes. So you just got to come back, watch the film, digest it, and move on to the next big game, which is the next one.
So far this year, we've seen a lot of you. You've gotten to play a good amount, a little bit more than you have in years past. And one thing I notice is your pass catching. That's something you clearly take pride in. Is that something you just sort of always had? Have you always played running back? Did you ever have some times where you're split out playing wide receiver growing up?
In high school, I actually played. Well, our system was kind of like the slot back and running back in the backfield.
Right.
So it was a running back at my high school. He went to Coastal Carolina. So had to share the ball a little bit. I played in the slot. When the boxer got huge, they put me in the slot, and I have some routes from there. But my hands are just a thing. I've always I wanted to play in the NFL, and I've always thought that the NFL was a passing league. So if you're gonna play running back, you have to be able to translate and be able to help in the pass game. So I think that's more where it comes from. Just trying to prepare myself for when that opportunity comes. So I'll just be prepared and just show them that I'm an extra asset out the backfield as well. Almost like another receiver.
Growing up in the state of Alabama and going to Auburn, I know you didn't remember him. Your family members sure may have, but Bo Jackson's up there, legendary. Did you have a favorite Auburn running back or a favorite by legend Alabama high school running back like Cadillac or somebody like that?
Funny you say that. Most people would probably be a Bo fan, but Cadillac was my favorite running back from that era.
Yeah.
Of, just seeing what he did, and then for him to go in the NFL. And, he with the Dolphins. He made a pretty big impact as soon as he got in as well. So that Cadillac's probably my favorite. I try to compare myself a lot to him too at Auburn. Probably not the same size, but
Asa, I promise you. Before I asked that, I thought your styles are very, very similar.
Yep.
And Cadillac's hands were better than most people realize. People know about yours.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Did you grow up Auburn fan?
I did not.
Okay.
I kind of grew up in between, like an Alabama fan, but I was really a huge Ohio State fan.
Okay.
Troy Smith played quarterback at Ohio State.
Right.
I started off playing quarterback when I was really little, probably like 7 or 8, and just I was a huge Troy Smith fan, fantasized Troy Smith. So I kind of grew up a Ohio State fan, and as I got older, it was more a little Alabama. But really, once I got to high school, I didn't really know like.
You didn't have an affiliation. I hear it.
Exactly. You're thinking about college at that point. So, I mean.
Asa, which one of these Memphis Tigers running backs do you like watching on Sundays when they're in the NFL? Because there's plenty to choose from.
Yeah. I'm a huge Tony Pollard fan, but more than anything, I'm a huge Kenny Gainwell fan. Like, I came here in 2019 when Kenny, kind of got it rolling, and just to see what that guy's been able to do and, just go and make plays at his size and just what he do with his skill set. I mean, I don't like to compare all the comparisons, but like I think what him and Tony's doing, like they're what they're doing in the league is only helping me. Future backs that are just like us. So,
and it goes back to it stylistically, catching passes out of the backfield, being more versatile. It pays more now in the NFL, and I hope we start to see a resurgence now with value in running backs too. We're seeing more too high looks in the NFL. Hopefully, we start to see more guys go in the first round than we have in years past.
Exactly. That's the thing with the running back position. Most people think you can go get you a back anywhere, but the game's not the same anymore. It's not that turn around and we're going to hand it off to a guy that's 230 pounds. Most of the game is in the league is all passing, so you got to be able to go out and attack space and win one-on-one. So that's the things I think I do really well, and Tony and Kenny does that really well.
This has been awesome stuff. Everybody out there, follow Asa on Twitter at @AsaMartin _ running back at the University of Memphis. And Asa, good luck next weekend on the road at Tulane in New Orleans.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Asa. And stay healthy the rest of the year. And boy, what a refreshing young voice. He is not defeated. They're not disappointed, Gabe, but they are.
And sometimes
they are not defeated.
Listen. And sometimes when you talk to guys after games, whether it's post game, press conference, or in a situation like this, you hear defeated in voice. That voice right there from Asa was anything but that.
Anything but quit there. Two great places for Memphis barbecue. That's the Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown, Memphis-style barbecue, the authentic Memphis way. That means slow, and it's great for groups at the Collierville Commissary. Any group, your group, whatever the size, is the perfect destination for you to have your event there. Or tonight, get out on the patio and enjoy Monday night football at the Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar. If you're craving an easier way to order, you can text right now, commissary, to 33733, getting close enough to be heading home. You can stop by there and get your food by texting commissary to 33733. Start with appetizers like the barbecue nachos, invented at the Germantown Commissary in the early 80s, tamales, the cheese plate, smoked chicken wings, and then dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a sandwich, on the plate, all the sides, slaw, beans, deviled eggs, bread. You can even order it by the pound, or a 6-pack, or an 8-pack, or a 12-pack, and coming soon, start putting in the orders for the holiday bird for every round of the holidays. Let it start at the commissary, whether it's the Collierville Commissary or the original in Germantown. Save room for dessert. Quite the challenge, I know, like the strawberry cake or the lemon icebox pie, the Manhattan pudding, and the pecan pies. It's that time of year for them as well. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com. In Collierville and Germantown, those party areas, this weather's been great for those. Orders to go, catering, tailgating, and always time for the holiday bird. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Another gut-wrenching loss for the Tigers. They dropped to 4-3, lost 47-45, and 4 overtimes against ECU. Got up early again, 17-0. So it's something that we've seen here the past 2 years in losses from this Memphis Tiger football team. What we're going to do next, we're going to come back, last segment of hour number 1, and we're going to talk about what we saw in this game and what the Tigers can do going forward to sort of salvage and make this season look a whole lot better than it does right this second, right here on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Hey, Mid-South, you want a new ride? We Gossett and Gossett Kia on the Pike. How about up to 35 MPG in the new 2023 Kia Seltos LX SUV? Only $257 a month, 36-month lease, $29.99 to its signing. And get behind the wheel for a real thrill in 2023 Kia K5 LXS sedan. We Gossett $293 a month, 36-month lease, $31.99 to its signing. If you don't see what you want, not a problem. Let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. And you won't pay over MSRP. Plus, get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
Seltos P738-6423, MSRP 25,325, K5 950-6883, MSRP 26,860, PF 695. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2022 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask, Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Mark Spensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. There's no better time of the year than now. Football and fitness go hand in hand in the fall. And with individual screens on each piece of cardio and multiple big screens throughout the rest of the club, you'll never miss a bit of the action watching your favorite team. ATC Fitness continues to be the Mid-South's choice for fitness, family-owned for 30 years, and proud supporters of Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers. Join online at atcfitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Great visiting with Asa Martin in the previous segment. If you want to go find all of these interviews we do on Monday with our Tiger player, we go to sports56whbq.com, click on featured audio. They are all there. If you want to hit us up as the day goes along, know a few people have already exercised that right. Listener line is right there, 901-360-8255. You can also watch us live, see our beautiful faces, bright and shining, on our social, Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Now, Tigers, again, 47-45, 4 overtimes. They get up early, 17-0. They have blown a lot of these opportunities. I mean, you date it back to UTSA last year. You get up early, and as the game goes along, get a little conservative, don't quite finish the game how they want to. I know Ryan Silverfield has said the trend is becoming a little bit alarming, and they're just not at the end of the day finishing when they get into the fourth quarter, and it's very, very clear. Now, I look at this game, and you can't really blame the loss on one particular play because there were multiple, and I mean multiple opportunities to go win that game. The second overtime run play where and obviously Asa Martin let us in on what exactly happened in that situation. There was a run pass option. They didn't get the look they were wanting to be able to throw the ball there, so they had to hand the ball off, but that came up short. They could have won the game there. Third overtime, just make a tackle on Keaton Mitchell on a swing route, tackle inside out. Savante Oliver misses the tackle. He gets into the end zone. Keaton Mitchell does. He killed them in the second half. There was also the 3rd and 2 early on East Carolina's go-ahead touchdown drive. C.J. Johnson was down the sideline, dropped it, but it wasn't reviewed. And Ryan Silverfield has said he asked the officials about it. There was a stoppage of play for an injury. They said they reviewed it and that the video crew reviewed it. And I don't know how you would call it a catch if you reviewed it. There's just no way that happened, and you want to know about like a challenge of some sort. If you could stop the clock and see if they could go back and look at it, you have to have that reviewed. That's another one where they go down and score on that drive. You could have had them punting on their own 33 instead, but you have to go down, tie the game up instead of going and winning the game if they punt that in that situation. But in the end of the day, it feels like in a lot of these games against teams with pulses the past 2 years, and they beat SMU last year. They did a good job of getting over the top. They beat Tulane last year. I get it. But they have clasped defeat when they have a chance to win, from the jaws of victory, if you will. And it's something that continues to be a massive problem for this coaching staff and this team.
There was a time during that game, Gabe, I was going to say today, had it turned out differently, that was going to be the biggest win of the Ryan Silverfield era. Mm-hmm. It was on its way to being that.
Well, how about the Houston game last week, right? That could have been.
Sure could have been.
Right.
Just so aggravating. And now with this criticism that has started, this reminds me of how it started for Josh Pastner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. I understand it. If it happens once or twice where you give up these massive leads, lose, and lose a game that really doesn't look like it should be losable, for the first half and then some going into the second half, I can get where people get frustrated. I completely understand it. It's awful. And you see some regression with the running game. You see some regression with the pass defense, even though you have some experienced guys on that side of the ball. I understand it, and I look at it this way. When you see former teammates of mine coming out vocally on Twitter, on social media, the way they are, I mean, Calvin Austin III saying there's no way you call that play in the second overtime. Kadarian Jones, who was a massive part of that Cotton Bowl team, saying this is not what we left it like. This is not what we left this program like. Listen, I don't think he's wrong in the grand scheme of things. It's not, right? And it gets frustrating because I played on a team in 2013 that knew how to lose ball games. No matter if they were up, at some point they learned how to lose ball games. Ended up 3-9 because of it. This team this year and even last year has learned how to lose ball games that they shouldn't lose. There was a stretch there between 2014 and I'd say 2020, the last year of Brady White, that 8-3 year. I would say
COVID year.
Yeah, I would say that those teams knew how to win ball games when push came to shove. The past 2 years have not been that. It is losing ball games that are inexplicable, and that's a awfully frustrating feeling. And now you see a fan base that, truthfully, Brett, I don't know.
A lot of air's been taken out of the program.
Yes, you see a fan base too that usually you have two sides to these things. You're 4-3. Usually you have two sides. One says, this guy, give him time. He's had bad circumstances. He hadn't been able to figure it out through them. Give him a little bit more time. And you usually have the other side saying, fire him right now. I don't see a lot of the first type of people anymore. I don't see that anymore. And the air being taken out of the program is definitely a frustration for a lot of fans, for a lot of former players. And you just, the path that this is headed down in a quick way is disheartening. And that doesn't mean that there can't be a response. That doesn't mean this team can't win enough games to be bowl eligible this year. That's not what that means. But it certainly will have an effect on that last home game of the year against North Alabama. It certainly will have an effect on a ticket scanner count as the season goes on. We will see how this plays out, but these last two losses have been brutal. Very, very brutal, to say the least. Now, attention sports fans, your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for the 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including their coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. You need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity, and you need to know that you're going to get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today, 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now, mention promo code Sports56Radio. Again, promo code Sports56Radio, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins. Hour number 2 is on the way. We're going to talk a little bit of Grizzlies basketball at 4:30 with Michael Cole. We're going to get to our Who Won the Weekend and extreme overreactions in college football and the NFL. But coming up next, we talk about what we saw this Saturday with our guy from CBS Sports, David Cobb.
Hey, Mid-South, I've got Jeff Allen on the phone at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. Hey, Jeff, what's shaking?
We are making our customers happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah. How about this? 2023 Kia Sorento LX all-wheel drive for just $257 per month. 36-month lease, $29.99 due at signing. And I've got a 2023 Kia Sportage LX front-wheel drive, $287 per month. 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing.
Well, I'm feeling happy, Jeff.
And if you don't see what you want, no problem. I'll order exactly what you want, and you won't pay over MSRP at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. Seltos P738-6423, MSRP 25325, K5 950-6883, MSRP 26860, PF 695. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2022 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday Night Report free on a recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. Denver, Los Angeles, side and total. Denver, Los Angeles. Critical information confirmed. Plus Thursday, New Orleans, Arizona, and Saturday's early releases. 5 big plays, John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0 free on a recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins John Anthony Sports #1 against the spread. Denver, Los Angeles, a monster. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want information? I've got it. I love to go 5-0 the season free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Kevin Harlan here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Coming up, quarterback Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos travel west to take on Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and I will have the call on air or on the free live stream sponsored by AutoZone. Who will get the important AFC West win? Join us to find out on Monday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code WIN for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona 1-800-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, Kansas 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Louisiana 1-877-770-STOP. New York 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, West Virginia 1-800-522-4700 or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
When you open a crisp, cold Bud Light, you know game day is here.
Touchdown! You owe me $5.
We mean every sound. Enjoy responsibly. 2022 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 2 is here. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. Brian Dacus in the Family Leisure Studios with me, producing the program Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Joining us now via the phone line is our guy from CBS Sports. He is David Cobb, at David W. Cobb on Twitter, college football and college basketball writer, again, for CBS Sports. David, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
It was a good weekend for some football fans in Tennessee, a bad weekend for others. Opposite ends of the spectrum, depending on which end of the state you're in. But, it was another good weekend. Another good weekend of what's been a great college football season.
So let's just open Let's open it up this way. Tennessee Vols, Hendon Hooker. The floor is yours, David Cobb. Let's hear it.
What a game. What a game. One for the ages, probably, absolutely the most memorable moment in Neyland Stadium since Tennessee beating Florida in 1998. That one was a bit of a curse beater as well. Ends up leading to a national title. Still don't know what this season will lead to, but even if it doesn't lead to a national title, Tennessee beating Alabama in that type of game, in that type of environment, it was special. I wish I had been there. I was live blogging the game for CBS. Was not in the stadium, but man, it was one of the best college football games of the last several years. And 52-49, man, the most points scored against Alabama since Sewanee in 1907. How about that?
And a good day for Sewanee. One of my best friends is a Sewanee grad. He texted me early Sunday morning that Heather Dinich Nugget. We had Phil Savage on last summer about the Sewanee movie, and I was texting Phil. So really, what's past is prologue, David, is what they say. But that's really from Thursday on in Knoxville. It looked like a movie set. Everything went off perfectly. The Friday coverage from SEC Nation, then Saturday with game day, and the end of the game, the fireworks, even the celebration, that looked like a movie, and it's the best reality show ever, sports.
It really did, and it felt so unlikely in that moment where Alabama goes ahead 49-42 after the botched read option handoff. And you think, okay, well, that was the breaking point. Good job, Tennessee. In my role, I got to have something ready to post as soon as the game goes final. So I really started getting to work there on my Alabama overcomes a 28-10 deficit, roars back with a crucial defensive touchdown in the fourth quarter to beat Tennessee, and then all of a sudden you look up and it seems like most of Alabama's losses in the last few years have had some sort of a critical missed field goal involved, and you just can't give Tennessee's offense a window. In 15 seconds, needing only 30 yards to reach field goal range, that was enough of a window for Tennessee's offense. And then the scene that followed was just unbelievable. But even as that kick was wobbling towards the upright, as somebody who's been up close and personal with a lot of really bad Tennessee football over the last 10, 15 years, I mean, I'm just thinking now, okay, here we go, overtime. That kick is not clearing the crossbar. And then when it did, man, it was just mayhem.
The Knoxville knuckleball.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Get your coffee table book for Christmas now. And David, we'll know more at the end of the year when this whole thing is decided in just its place. But we could look back if that being the most important third Saturday in October win ever. Yeah, that word, and I've used it a bunch today already, hadn't I, Gabe? It could be the most important one ever. And if Hendon Hooker is the one to finally, that Heisman curse that really, it's much more than just Peyton. I mean, it goes way back to Heath Schuler, even losing to Charlie Ward and Johnny Majors, and even back to losing to Dick Kazmaier from the Ivy League. Tennessee had a runner-up. And with that, if Hendon Hooker goes on and wins the Heisman Trophy, does just that make him the greatest quarterback in Tennessee football history?
Yeah, I think you can make the case because the Heisman Trophy is the ultimate award in college sports. And if you win that, it puts you in a special place in program history. Now, I think when we reflect on Peyton Manning's career, even just talking about his Tennessee career, it's hard not to be influenced by what he went on to do in the NFL as well. So in that sense, there's still a really high bar to clear for Hendon Hooker. But if you distill it to a Heisman
at
Trophy,
UT,
yeah. Now I don't know. I think you need another banner team accomplishment in there. The win over Alabama is huge, but when they look back on the 2022 Tennessee football team 20 years from now, are they only going to say, "Oh, that was the one that beat Alabama," or are they going to say that was the one that broke the streak against Alabama and then went on to do X, Y, and Z? If he can put an X, a Y, or a Z, or at least a couple of team accomplishments at the end of, oh, that was the team that beat Alabama, then yeah, a Heisman Trophy winning Hendon Hooker will have a shot to compare his legacy quite favorably to Peyton Manning. So that needs to be either an SEC championship, a New Year's Six victory, a college football playoff appearance, something more than a Music City Bowl, Tax Slayer Bowl, whatever these sorts of bowls that Tennessee has been getting to over the last 10 or 15 years.
How jarring is it to see Alabama this sort of undisciplined, right? I think they're up above 120th in penalty yardage allowed.
I mean, people talking about them like they're UConn.
17 penalties for 130 yards. The Quindarius Robinson play. I mean, just it seems like more so than ever with a Nick Saban coach team, this team is undisciplined as it gets.
Well, yeah, and in some way that was almost why I thought Alabama would win and play better against Tennessee, because they had been so undisciplined in the first half of the season on so many occasions that I thought, okay, this is the second half of the season now. We're getting pretty deep into this thing. Nick Saban loves this roster, or at least he did over the offseason. They're going to start eliminating these penalties, these self-inflicted mistakes, et cetera, and they just haven't. So to be penalized a school record number of times on the road in that situation is critical. Who could survive that? The fact that Alabama almost survived that is such an amazing credit to Bryce Young. I mean, I thought he played as well as I've seen a college football quarterback play in a game like that in a long time, man. He was unbelievable for Alabama, especially coming off that shoulder injury. And if they don't have him playing like that, Alabama loses by a significantly larger margin.
I said probably the best game I've seen him play, considering the circumstances. Tennessee tried to light him up the entire game, tried to blitz the hell out of him, and that Bama O-line was not picking up the blitzes. He got hammered a few times. I thought that Omari Thomas targeting was going to hold up too, but that didn't end up holding up at the end of the day. There were just a lot of different things in that game that if it broke the other way, Alabama could have won, but they didn't get over the top. So Brett brought this up, and he says he thinks that game in particular, and obviously not the two missed games, takes him out of the Heisman conversation completely. Did you view it that way? Because I like watching that game, 455 yards, 2 TDs, some of the balls he was placing, even though they got dropped because the Alabama receivers have the drops. I thought that was about as Heisman worthy of a performance and a loss that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't count him completely out just yet. Although, heck, Brett has a vote, so if he says it, I'll listen. But,
that's a good point. Good point.
I mean, I'd have to vote Hooker over Young today.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. He's not in the driver's seat really by any stretch. In fact, I mean, I would venture to say that maybe Blake Corum, the running back at Michigan right now, would have to receive votes over Bryce Young.
Sure would.
He could get there. He just has to have a really impressive close to the season. And then you think about statistically, the fact is, missing a game when you're a quarterback at such a statistically oriented position, that's going to hurt your cumulative totals versus somebody like a C.J. Stroud or a Hendon Hooker. So that in and of itself gives him less margin for error there. So I don't think he should be out of it. I just
uphill
think
climb though.
Yeah,
okay, that's a good point in defeat. Caleb Williams had that same game in defeat, but it was in defeat, and we know there's a winning quotient to winning the Heisman Trophy. David, let's play some scenarios. Now, and it's not that far from now. It could play out over the next 7-8 weeks. What if last Saturday was the first of 3 between Tennessee and Bama?
So they could potentially meet again in the SEC championship game. And then, in theory, they could play in the college football playoff. It sounds a bit far fetched when you first think about it, but it's.
Well, it'd be a lot of cigar smoked, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there would be. That was interesting to me. The thing that Henry To'o was saying in his post game interview. Of course, he was the Alabama linebacker who transferred from Tennessee amid the Jeremy Pruitt debacle, and he said, "We'll see him again. We'll see him again." And in my mind, I'm thinking, is he actually kind of predicting right now that Tennessee is going to beat Georgia?
Yeah, right.
Because that's what would have to happen.
Yeah.
For Tennessee to, in all likelihood, for Tennessee to reach the SEC championship game would be for Tennessee to go down to Athens and beat Georgia. I'm just not ready to call that yet. I mean, it's been a storybook ride for Tennessee to this point. But
we could potentially have the famed second Monday in January game.
I know. And if Tennessee beats Georgia, then they will likely play Alabama again. But what about the possibility of somebody else in the West? Brett, we've texted about it a little bit, and it's fun to sort of daydream about. But Ole Miss is looking like a really good football team right now. And if they beat Alabama, then they're going. Or if Alabama trips up elsewhere, and the fact is that Bama with one loss now makes the SEC West a lot more interesting.
This is a really hard question to answer, so I'm going to preface it by saying that. Who do you trust more to win out, Alabama or Tennessee at this point?
Probably Alabama. I know they do still have to play Ole Miss, but the fact is they don't have a trip to Georgia on the schedule. You know, they got to go to LSU. That's never easy. But the Georgia game just looms so large for Tennessee. It's not a season record. You can still lose that one and potentially sneak in as a one-loss team to the college football playoff. But it's going to be a heavy lift to go down there and beat that defense on the road. The thing is, though, there's really not another game on Tennessee's schedule other than Georgia that really gives you too much concern. So that's, maybe works in their favor. I would pick Alabama, though, as my team that I would say is more likely to win out.
David, you like Ole Miss. When will you really believe in them? Will it be at 8-0 after going to Baton Rouge, and if they win, 9-0 after College Station, or does it come down to November 12th in Oxford against Alabama? The real trust, the real believing in Ole Miss.
It probably does come down to the Alabama game for me, partially because this has been a favorable schedule. It's not Ole Miss's fault.
It was schedule handed out last September by the SEC.
Yeah, and so they've worked that to their advantage, and they're 7-0. They're in the top 10 right now, and deserve to be. They're a good football team. They're balanced. They play offense and defense after losing their coordinators, mind you. They run the football as well as anybody in the country. This is no doubt going to be a tougher stretch of their schedule coming up, and until you probably have that breakthrough against Alabama, it's going to be hard to really get the nation's attention, I think. Because right now you would kind of put, in some way, Ole Miss is like the SEC version of TCU or UCLA. They're ranked higher than those teams because of the league that they play in. But around the country, you don't see people talking about TCU and UCLA as much because, well, who have they beat?
Yeah.
And I think Ole Miss is kind of in that same world right now.
Yeah, just doesn't quite have the heft, the gravitas nationally as the name brands.
Now,
that's true.
Michigan was kind of that conversation because of how bad their schedule was, but then they beat
it's Michigan.
Then they beat
that
Penn
helmet,
State.
that fight song.
Then they beat Penn State 41-17, ran for 418 yards with the two running backs. You mentioned Blake Corum, but Donovan Edwards was ridiculous as well. Did they? I know what the score says. I know what the offensive stats say. Did they prove it to you this week?
Yeah, that's a Penn State team that I thought was much better than the Penn State teams of the past couple of seasons. And it was a Michigan team, as you mentioned, untested, that had kind of struggled the last few weeks against mediocre-ish Big Ten opposition. So for them to handle Penn State so authoritatively, 41-17, really the box score says that Michigan dominated even more than that. Yeah, it was impressive, and I think this Michigan team is unique among the elite teams in college football right now in the way that they sort of grind you down. Like I almost feel like in some ways they're doing what Georgia did last year, and that they feel like it feels like they're almost as good at it too, and maybe even better running the football than Georgia was last year. So their defense probably isn't as good, but man, their run game is so strong, and that's what sticks out to me is the fact that Blake Corum has just run wild on everybody that he's faced to this point. So, yeah, I actually still had Michigan in the top three. In our CBS Sports 130, I still had them above Tennessee, even though Tennessee. The thing with Tennessee is that like everyone says they have 4 ranked wins, and that's only partially true because the 4 teams that they are saying that about. Of those 4 teams, I think Alabama's the only one that's actually ranked this week. So I don't think Tennessee's resume is quite as good as people make it out to be, and I don't think Michigan's is quite as bad.
David Cobb, our guest from CBS Sports, he covers college football and college basketball there, and it's getting closer to college basketball time, and we're going to get to a lot of college basketball, I promise, David. But today, mostly college football. It feels like the Pac-12 and the Big 12, that they're kind of down ballot from Big 10, SEC, ACC. Would you rank them 4 or 5?
Yeah, I don't know if the Big 12 deserves it though. I think the Big 12 might be better than the ACC. I think it's less likely to produce a college football playoff team, though, because of the reality is, unless you trust TCU to go undefeated, it's going to be hard for a Big 12 team to crack the playoff this year, because even a one-loss Big 12 team isn't going to have those marquee, big-time, top 10 type of victories to really catch your eye on the resume test. And the fact is, it might be difficult for a Big 12 team to get to the finish line with only one loss because of how difficult it is in that conference week in and week out. So if we were power ranking it, I think the Big 12 is a better conference than the ACC. But the ACC is far more likely to get a team to the playoffs because it has Clemson. And so I think in that sense, in terms of who's going to be there at the end, I think the ACC has a much better shot than the Big 12.
With the Pac-12, UCLA seems to be their only hope at this point. How much of a hope do you think they are, considering the circumstances? Big game against Oregon this weekend. College game day will be there.
Yeah, not much of one. And maybe, honestly, the Pac-12 could end up just as likely as the Big 12 to send a team to the college football playoff. Because if you look right now, as of this week, 4 of the top 15 teams in the AP poll are from the Pac-12. So there is it feels like a little bit more opportunity, or maybe an equal opportunity for those Pac-12 teams to pick up decent wins. So there's still a chance that a USC, an Oregon, or a UCLA could be there as the champion of a one-loss league at the end. And they've also done the thing this year where they're not doing the championship game based on division championships anymore. It's just the teams with the 2 best record in league play. That's a smart move on the Pac-12's part because it gives their champion the chance to pick up another high-quality victory against the second-best team in the conference on that day. So the Pac-12 is pleasantly top-heavy. It's not a deep league, but I would say it would be best for the league if UCLA would beat Oregon this week and at least have a chance to go unbeaten. Because we could be talking about a situation, guys, where maybe this is the year where 3 SEC teams really are in the college football playoff conversation at the end.
And I wish we could start the 12 or 16 team tournament this year, because it a couple more SEC teams like Ole Miss would almost be guaranteed in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you would get a USC in all likelihood in there with a chance. You would get one of these Big 12 teams in there who is battle-tested, who might end up with 2 losses and not really eligible for the 4-team format, but who could be really dangerous in a 12-team format after going through that gauntlet in the Big 12. So I'm ready for it, guys. I'm excited for it. I mean, obviously, look, Georgia, Ohio State kind of seem like the most dominant teams in the sport this year. Wouldn't be shocked if one of those wins the national title whatsoever. But there's some good ball being played below them as well, and that 12-team format would be good. I'm not complaining. I hope they get it done sooner rather than later.
I think Tennessee's in their league, David.
Offensively, there's no doubt. There's no doubt whatsoever. Yet to see a defense that can slow Tennessee down. That's why that Georgia game could be really fun in a couple of weeks, because they are a pretty dang good defensive team. So what Heupel's done to get them there, even in the conversation.
I picked the Vols last week.
I'm glad you had the courage, because I didn't. I picked them against the spread in our official CBS picks, but I couldn't get there. I just couldn't do it with Alabama coming in, Bryce Young likely to be back. I just didn't see it, and it was so fun though, because the special thing about those types of wins, when it's your alma mater or the school that all of your friends are fans of and your family members. You get all the texts, you get to make calls to people that you don't always talk to, and it's just special, when you get to commemorate something like that. And it was a fun Saturday for sure.
Winning is the best drug ever invented.
Yep.
And by the way, have you donated to the $150,000 field goal?
They need your
fund?
cash.
They need for it.
They need your matching donation.
They don't have enough to get the field goal post, David.
Yikes, man. I get it. They were trying to capitalize
Come on,
monetarily on a big moment, but the execution was a little bit off there. It made it sound like they really needed the money to pay for the goalpost. I don't think
like a millionaire sweating the water bill.
David, I don't know if you've done the research on this. I know I have, and I have an idea how much field goal post costs. But I put out, were they diamond encrusted or something, and someone responded. They said $25,000 per field goal post sounds about right. Since when? When?
Yeah.
You think the University of
Supply
Tennessee
chain, Gabe.
pays $25,000 per field goal post? No
Look
chance.
at the hundreds and thousands of high schools around the country that have field goal
Yeah.
posts. I don't. If we can't afford shot clocks in high school basketball, then I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be able to afford uprights either if they were $25,000. So, typical Tennessee to follow up a triumph with something a little bit of a facepalm moment.
So I take it you haven't donated to it.
No.
Okay,
hey, I
was just checking.
I do spend $5 a month to the student newspaper.
Shout out.
Just to kind
That's good stuff.
Keep those guys afloat. But and I doubt my $5 really does much. But they keep hitting me up, so I can at least give them something. But I ain't giving them anything for the goalpost.
But you know what they say, David. Every little bit counts. $5. $5 matters. Come on, don't sell yourself short. But always appreciate it, David. Man.
Thank you,
we'll
David.
talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Thanks.
David Cobb with us on Monday talking all things college football and college basketball. And start that fall road trip in a new truck or SUV from All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. You can go down there and check out Chevy truck season at All-Star. Find what you want. Or if you don't find it, order whatever you want. A new Silverado, High Country, or Crew Cab, Blazer, Traverse, a new 23 Camaro convertible. How about a new Equinox with 1.9 financing? Because your good credit deserves it. All-Star is famous for their certified and pre-owned selections, Ram Laramies and Bighorn Mustangs, Grand Caravan, Suburbans, Tahoes. Jeff and Kevin asked me to give a big shout-out to all of you that brought your great pre-owned cars and trucks to them to purchase. If you have a car or truck to sell today, bring it to Olive Branch, get a check for great cash today, even if you owe money against it. Don't wait for service. Gary at the All-Star Chevrolet Service Department, he's your guy on all things oil changes, tire rotations. He's got you covered. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Now it's time to switch some gears. We have Grizzlies basketball this week on Wednesday against the Knicks at home in FedEx Forum. Also, Brandon Clark gets an extension, 4 years, $52 million. So they keep a guy who was fantastic in the playoffs last year. They keep him on the team for the long term. And we have some Grizzlies basketball to talk about in general. And coming up next, we'll do that with our guy from the CA on the Grizzlies beat, DeMichael Cole.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
I can walk again. I can cross my legs again. I can wear heels again.
After years of living with chronic joint pain, Andrea Southard is now living a normal life, pain-free, thanks to natural biologic treatments at QC Kinetics.
We tried everything. And my husband had heard the commercial for QC Kinetics on the radio, and he told me to call him and check it out.
That phone call changed Andrea's life. QC Kinetics used powerful natural biologics to treat her aching joints. It's high-tech precision medicine that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue with no surgery and no drugs, providing lasting relief.
I felt like I was in my 20s again. I could tie my own shoes. Really the little things that you don't think about.
Pain in your hips, knees, back, shoulders? Get rid of the pain now. Call QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday Night Report free on a recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. Denver, Los Angeles, side and total. Denver, Los Angeles. Critical information confirmed. Plus Thursday, New Orleans, Arizona, and Saturday's early releases. 5 big plays, John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0 free on a recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins John Anthony Sports #1 against the spread. Denver, Los Angeles, a monster. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want information? I've got it. I love to go 5-0 or the season free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Dad, come on, you're going to fall on the barbecue.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back in Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I am Gabe. He is Stats. We have some NBA basketball starting tomorrow. TNT game, 6:30 will be 76ers at Celtics. 9 o'clock will be Lakers at Warriors. But then what we're paying attention to, especially in this city, is a home game on Wednesday. The Grizzlies will be hosting the Knicks to open up their 2022-23 campaign. To join us, no better time to get him on the show. It's DeMichael Cole at DeMichael C on Twitter from the Commercial Appeal covering the Grizzlies. DeMichael, how are you, man?
What's going on, guys?
It's been a while.
Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Last time we got to visit was at the golf tournament. It's not golf talk time. It's Grizzlies time.
Yeah, it's the best part of the year, right?
Mm-hmm, no question. And, going into a season in the past, I mean, you look at his 22nd year of the Grizzlies. Brett brought this up off the top of the show. 22nd year for the Grizzlies. This is by far, even with the injury to Jaren Jackson Jr., this is by far the most confidence, almost, I mean, to a certain extent, relatively blind confidence you put in this front office and what this team can accomplish.
Yeah, it's different. It's the word championship. It's been thrown around by a lot of people. John Morant, Zach Kleiman, Taylor Jenkins, and the fan base. And that's not something we're used to. In the past, it's felt more like just fans being fanatics, just hoping maybe something wild happens and we can win a championship. But this year, it's like, look, a lot of people feel like this team is as good as a lot of the top-tier teams in the Western Conference, and they can make that happen.
DeMichael, it just feels like everything is properly aligned. The best in a groove the franchise ever been, from ownership to front office to players to coaches, radio, TV, marketing, ticket sales. I mean, it just really is off to the best start I can ever remember. This is the most excited I've been for opening night in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it like this, Brett. I lived in Memphis my whole life.
I haven't either, DeMichael. This is the best.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, I remember, a lot of people were saying how the Grizzlies were kind of at one point, struggling to like reach, younger people and things like that. And I mean, now I have a lot of my friends say, "Hey, how do I get tickets to this game or that game, or what do I do to, like they're asking questions, and like you can just see the general interest is at an all-time high."
Mm-hmm. And also you like see the 3-6 Mafia collab with the NBA and sort of what's going on, like the culture and the NBA and sport coinciding perfectly here in Memphis, and it's just really cool to see. Now, as far as on the court goes, no Jaren Jackson to start the year, although I think there was a positive update. Tell us about that, and also what do you think about their plan going forward? Looks like Santi Aldama is going to get the first crack at the 4 as the starter, but how much do you think it will be sort of by committee, sort of replacing Jaren Jackson in that role?
Yeah, so Jaren has been progressing well. I think I wrote about a week ago, gave an update then when he was progressing to, doing some one-on-one individual stuff, and they were saying, he's basically looking good. And now I think even probably one of the bigger updates yet is Taylor Jenkins saying that he's a couple weeks away, hopefully,
right,
with his words. So he's possibly a couple weeks away from doing 5-on-5. He hasn't had any regression. And, with basketball players, 5-on-5 in contact are usually the 2 final steps before being ready to play in a game. So that kind of goes to what we've been hearing in terms of he's closer, to the front end of that 4 to 6 month timeline than the back end of it. So that timeline would put him, between November and January. And some people would say, will he be ready by Christmas? Will he be ready by 2023? Will he be ready by Thanksgiving? It's looking like it's more of, the earlier part there. So that's encouraging, because now, instead of him missing 30-plus games, you're talking about him possibly missing 10, 15, 20 games, which is a big difference, which is a huge difference. So Santi is likely to, step in to the starting role. I think they've liked what they've seen out of Santi. I don't think that's pretty much the question. The question is usually right now the backup power forward position, because now you're going to rely on at least one of the rookies, possibly even both, Jake LaRavia, David Roddy. I think they both showed encouraging signs, though I think either of them is ready at this point, not necessarily, but they're first-round picks. They're not going to be asked to do too much, because you have Tyus Jones, you have John Conchar, you have Zaire Williams, and you have Brandon Clark, and if Zaire plays as well. But over the course of while Jaren is out, you will have, that group who can do most of the work. So Santi is in position to start. I think that's a calmer, presence there than the backup spot.
Only 2 home games out of the first 8, and one of them's opening night against the Knicks. The other one against the other team from New York, Brooklyn, coming up on Sunday afternoon. On Monday night, the 24th, a week from tonight. So if you're going to see the Grizzlies in October, you got 2 cracks at it.
Yeah, you get 2 cracks at it, and they're going to be on the road. I mean, a lot of people are talking about how the schedule starts off a little bit on the easier side, team-wise, but they're going to be on the road a lot. People are not thinking about that part of it. I mean, we saw how back-to-back were last season, and I don't care how deep your team is. For example, after this Knicks game, you get the Rockets and Mavs back-to-back, 2 teams that you probably feel like the Grizzlies can beat, but a back-to-back at the beginning of the season like that may take its toll, So we'll see how that goes, and then that's 3 games in 4 days, and then there's the day off, and then you get the Nets at home, as you mentioned. But after that, you go to Sacramento. You got 2 against the Jazz. Then they go to Portland before returning home against Charlotte for a homestand there. But yeah, they're going to be on the road a lot. So while the opponents aren't necessarily the toughest teams, it's still, long road trips can be tasking, especially, at this part of the season where, conditioning isn't in peak form.
So Zaire Williams, I think, got back to practice today is what I saw as far as the report was concerned. Is there your feel on this? Is there anything afoot with him? Is there anything bizarre with that knee? Didn't get to see him a lot in preseason. I know he sat out a few practices.
Yeah, so we haven't really just seen Zaire do a lot since before the previous Sunday open practice. So 2 Sundays ago, there was open practice. That was my first time noticing that he wasn't, doing much. And then I didn't see him at practice last week. This was the first day I've seen him at practice in a while. And what I've gathered, Taylor Jenkins says day to day, and they're kind of, being cautious with it here. But I think his opening day status is really into question. I think at the end of the day, I mentioned they start the season with 3-4. That the Grizzlies, just their style. I don't think there will be any rush to say, hey, play Wednesday, then play both of these nights of the back-to-back after dealing with knee soreness. So, I can tell that, Taylor Jenkins said this is not a long-term thing, so it's not something that he's expecting to be, Jair to deal with throughout the season or anything like that. But the fact that it's occurring now and you have 3 games and 4 nights to start the season, I definitely think, kind of puts his status into question.
Right.
DeMichael, if Ja Morant's to win the MVP award, how many wins does that equate to for the team? He wins the MVP, the Grizzlies win how many games if he does that?
I say the number is you have to win 53 games.
Top last year.
Yeah, you don't have to win more games than last season because, quite frankly, I think the West overall is going to be it's going to be a gauntlet for whoever gets out of that thing. So I think it's going to be so crowded at the top that 54 wins and just having a spectacular season will get you very high in that conversation. But if he gets to 60, then I think that's the best shot he has. 60 wins is the best shot, but I think 54 will firmly get his name in the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've had 2 contract extensions this offseason, right around the same per-year money, like very, very close, Brandon Clark and Steven Adams. Brandon Clark gets 4-year, $52 million. I believe Steven Adams was somewhere 2 years, 25, somewhere around there, if you can correct me if I'm wrong. But what does this do? Because Dillon Brooks is extension eligible right this second. What does this do for him? What does this mean for him long-term with the Grizzlies?
Now, it's the question now because, Ja Morant got extended this summer too.
Right.
So, and you just look up and down the roster. If you look at the entire Grizzlies roster, except Danny Green, is pretty much made up of players who were on the team last season or who were drafted. Mm-hmm. So you got just a lot of players. There's a lot of familiarity on this team. And every one of those people who are extension eligible have been extended except Dillon Brooks and Xavier Tillman Sr. Xavier Tillman Sr. has a team option after this season. Mm-hmm. So, that's a bridge they can cross down the road if that is something that they want to do. But with Dillon Brooks, the reason he is the center of the conversation because he is the one player on this roster. Again, Danny Green as well, but we haven't seen Danny Green, in the Grizzlies uniform in a game yet. But that's with Dillon Brooks. He's the longest tenured player, and if he doesn't sign an extension soon, he'll be, unrestricted free agent next season. I think we can agree defensively what he brings to the table, but the question is, does that outweigh, the offensive inconsistencies? And that's where you have a lot of I talk to a lot of people about this, and some people say, he's super valuable, and some people say, they can kind of go without him, and it's like what I think it obviously comes down to is this is a business decision probably more than anything, right? Because anyone in business, at some point you have to do the math, and if you subtract from something, you want to subtract from one of your strengths. And in the Grizzlies' case, they needed to re-sign Brandon Clark, I think, even after, re-signing Steven Adams. Because at that point, if you lose Steven Adams for any point of time, you're probably going to have Xavier Tillman as your only true center. Mm-hmm. So you needed to re-sign Brandon Clark, keep that depth there at center. We talked about the power forward position, Jaren Jackson Jr., Santi Aldama. Now they got the rookies, David Roddy, Jake LaRavia. Zaire Williams, the way he can fill in that small forward. Point guard, you have tight. Like, they have depth everywhere, but you needed to re-sign those guys to get that depth. You needed Tyus back to keep that depth. But with Dillon Brooks and his situation, they are stacked at small forward. And this is, someone, I said this earlier, someone was, oh, you're saying that Zaire and John Conchar and David Roddy and Jake LaRavia are better options than Dylan Brooks. No, that is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is everyone's getting paid, right? Everyone is, you just handed out $52 million. Brandon Clark's money is like on par with Robert Williams and Wendell Carter. Those are two guys who started 60-plus games last season. So you just handed a guy who's probably not even going to start 20 games this season, starter money. And then Tyus Jones is the highest paid backup point guard in the NBA, job max contract. Desmond Bain next summer is projected to get a 9-figure deal, over $100 million. Jaren Jackson Jr.'s extension just kicked in this season. So with all that money committed to the future, someone may have to get the short end of the stick. That's what it comes down to. And you look at all the players that I named, Brooks may be the most expendable because he's at one of the deeper positions. You have a bunch of options at that spot, particularly Zaire Williams. Is a guy that this team really likes, and we'll see how that unfolds. But I think that's the question. I've said it, all summer, that Zaire Williams' progression is directly tied into Dylan Brooks' future. If Zaire Williams doesn't look this season like the future at the small forward position, they'll probably bring Dylan back.
And DeMichael, it's not all that surprising, grand scheme of things. I know how productive he's been, but he's been the center of discussions in Grizzlies circles about, okay, if there's a guy that you would trade at the trade deadline, what kind of value can you get out of this guy? It's always been Dylan Brooks.
He's always in the mix.
He's always the conversation. So we'll see what happens with it, but I think it's pretty telling, right? I mean, it's pretty telling he has not gotten his money yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, when I noticed it, because to me it came down to this. When the offseason started, you knew Steven Adams, Brandon Clark, Dylan Brooks were the three players who, if they didn't sign extensions before the season, they were going to be free agents next year. So it was like, okay, how do you prioritize those? And everyone that I talked to, honestly, Dylan Brooks was first or second in priority. Yeah. From a lot of people, some people had him above Brandon Clark, some people had him second, but I didn't see Steven Adams above Dylan Brooks to a lot of people. So Steven Adams got his money, Brandon Clark got his money. Zach Kleiman talked about how all three of those guys are integral to the things that they want to do here. And let's not forget, of those players, Dylan Brooks is the one they've extended before. Like this regime has extended Dylan Brooks, so it's not like they don't think, he's a capable player and things like that. I think it comes down more to, just what I just said. Like, Zaire Williams' progression is directly tied into the future, and it's like a process of elimination thing. Because at the end of the day, if you pay Dylan Brooks, you're going to pay him. He's going to have to be paid pretty good. You're talking at least $14 million plus a year. And at that point, you'd have a starting lineup where your point guard is a max player. Your shooting guard is probably going to be getting close to, if not maximum money, at his position as well. Then you'd have Dylan Brooks, making in the upper tier of small forwards money. Jaren Jackson Jr., upper tier power forward money. Your center is, your two centers combined are basically max money. So it's,
the math has to start mathing.
The dollars are going to get short. Yeah. Robert Parrish, he's flexing that bank account right now.
Right, for sure.
And he can.
Yeah, for sure. But DeMichael, always appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
We'll catch up. We'll catch up next week.
All right, guys. Take care.
You, man.
Thank you so much,
DeMichael.
DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal on all things Grizzlies, and so fun to start our visits with him. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Tip off the Grizzly season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. New customers get $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just use promo code SPORTS56 at sign up. Plus, all customers get 3 months of NBA League Pass when they make a $5 bet on the NBA courtesy of FanDuel. Then you can watch all the action as you bet on everything from point spreads to money line to totals, and best of all, you get your winnings paid instantly. Don't miss your chance to get $150 in free bets plus 3 months of NBA League Pass with promo code SPORTS56. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Memphis Grizzlies. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New customers, first online real money wager only, $10 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Existing customers, $5 NBA wager required. Limit one pass per customer across both offers. Restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See full terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. NBA League Pass. Local blackout restrictions do apply.
So, speaking of the math not mathing when it comes to payroll in the NBA, the Warriors, my gosh, Joe Lacob must be made of, I mean, he is made of money. He's got a lot of money. But Jordan Poole, 4 years, $140 million. Andrew Wiggins, 4 years, $109 million. They still haven't extended Draymond. He wants a max extension. I don't know if he'll actually get it. But 23-24, there's a projection for them. Their payroll and tax penalty in 2023, 2024, so a year from now, will likely exceed $500 million.
What pandemic? What bubble?
Word, exactly.
That's why Adam Silver had to have the bubble. He had to keep the business going.
Yeah, the business
it was smart.
It's still booming. It's still fine, as the Warriors are showing you. Let's go ahead and get to a break. And you know what Mondays are for. It's for overreactions. We get to our college football and NFL overreactions when we come back.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
Hey Memphis, I'm Regina Moore, owner of Chef Flavors. Born and raised in the 901, I have so much pride for my city. So my husband and I created a product Memphis can be proud of. Our award-winning spinach artichoke dip will hit Walmart shelves starting Monday, October 17th, and we need your help clearing the main. Let's show Walmart how Memphis come together for their own. Unlock the inner chef in you with Chef Flavors.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
You need concrete coatings, materials, and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? Oh yeah, we got that stuff, I think, but it's in Wisconsin, so you're gonna have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coating and supplies now at TSS Supply. Everything that you need for coating concrete at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road. And you're not dealing with just any supply store. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies, all in one place. Most products are delivered same day or within 24 hours. Looking for a particular item, you need large quantities, or just have general questions? Call them at 901-729-0565, 729-0565, or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. All month in October, TSS Supply is celebrating its grand opening with 10% off your first order. TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
Ram Power Days and Jeep Adventure Days are on at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike. Are you ready for a new ride but can't seem to find just what you're looking for? No worries. Stop by, pick your ride, and Gossett will get it ordered just for you. No hassles, no extra charges, no market adjustments. Pay no more than MSRP at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Plus 22 Jeep Compass Latitude 4x4, re-Gossett $419 a month, and 22 Dodge Charger SXT. We Gossett $479 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.10% APR, $39.99 down. Charger NH204733, MSRP $35,485. Compass NT206592, MSRP $32,825. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
How do you want that cooked? Run to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. We got to get rolling hot and heavy with our overreactions and who won the weekend. Let's start with who won in college football. I'll go ahead and give that an easy. We might have a group block. Tennessee snaps 15-game losing streak against Bama, played unreal game, and now they have a Heisman hopeful, a real Heisman leader right now in Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker, he won the weekend. He's the front runner to be the first Tennessee Heisman winner.
Michigan,
okay.
Michigan.
Rock
Penn
on.
State.
I think that's a fair one. NFL, who won the weekend? The state of New York. Bills 5-1. They beat the Chiefs. Jets 4-2. They hammer the Packers. Giants 5-1. Beat the Ravens. We knew the Bills could, but the other two, this is impressive. This has been wild to see.
My winner was Mitch Mitchell. Mitch Trubisky beat Tom Brady. Man bites dog should be the headline.
That's an upset. That's an upset.
Bills.
Okay. I got you. Beat the Chiefs. I get you. College football overreaction.
Poor Bryant got the speed version memo, didn't he?
He's going quick. My college football overreaction, DJU is playing himself, and this might not even be that much of an overreaction, playing himself back into day one or day two of the NFL draft. 1,665 yards. 17 TDs, 2 INTs, 337 yards rushing, 4 TDs. Great game against FSU, 15 for 23, 203, 3 TDs. He's taking care of the ball and playing within himself, and this is what it gets you.
The Bama dynasty is over. Bama starts to become a 2-loss in the league. Defeats from now on. Every year they lose at least 2.
Okay.
After starting 1-5 and ranking number 2 in the bottom 10 poll, Hawaii is back, and they're going to go bowling this year.
Okay, they beat Nevada. A good win.
Right.
But will there be a mutiny with their coach?
No.
No, Timmy Chang.
NFL, Gabe.
NFL for me, Bailey Zappi should remain the starter in New England. 2.5 games, 596 yards,
sense.
4 TDs, INT. Mac Jones in 3 games, 786 yards, 2 TDs, 5 INTs. Has he ever heard of Drew Bledsoe? I wonder.
Mine, NFL, Tom Brady has lost more off his fastball than Nick Saban has.
Wow, my overreaction. Move over, Black Sox. Cooper Rush is joining you. It was clear as day that game was rigged last night. Someone told him, go out there. Dak is back next week. Go out there and make Cowboys fans forget about you. And that's what he did.
He sure did. Dak's coming back, though, it looks like.
Shoeless Cooper Rush.
That's right.
Dak said after the game he's on the way back. So no fear. No fear, Cowboys fans. No fear. Let's go ahead and get to our final break here of hour number 2. Hour number 3 is on the way. We still have our Monday Night Football preview and pick and our 4 all-time favorites for the Broncos and the Chargers. But coming up next, we have to talk more Tiger football. It's Evan Barnes will join us on the other side.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Like, I don't know, can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't look...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
You know when I played football for the Memphis Tigers?
We all know you played for the Tigers.
We all love going to Central Barbecue after games. There were so many great choices to refuel after the game, ribs, pulled pork. Some of the weirdos would even get vegan options. And as team captain...
We all know you were a team captain.
I felt as leader I needed to encourage my teammates to get the best food possible, and that was Central Barbecue.
Or you just wanted to go there, so as a captain, you made them come with you to Central Barbecue.
They wanted to come to Central Barbecue.
Not as much as you wanted to go to Central Barbecue.
No one wants to go to Central Barbecue as much as me.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Here's another remarkable success story from QC Kinetics. This one from Chad, who hurt his knee at the gym one day, and it just kept on hurting for months.
From my high school football and wrestling days, I already had a little bit of damage in there, but this just sent it over the edge.
Chad tried traditional treatments with no improvement when he turned to the non-surgical regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
It was really fascinating how they did their work, and the science behind it was very intriguing, and it works. Extracting the cure out of my own body blew my mind. It's like I'm brand new again. It was fantastic.
That's because the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments use your body's own healing power to restore damaged tissue in your hips, shoulders, back, and knees, providing long-lasting relief.
Now I'm back at the gym. I'm 100%, feeling great.
If you're tired of suffering with pain from arthritis or injury, call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
It's time to get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike for some falling prices. Book your next adventure with 27 combined MPG in our 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $359 a month or $26,095. Get off-road, snow, ice, or everyday driving in 2023 Eclipse Cross. We Gossett, $399 a month or $28,880. Or get 7 seating capacity in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett at $419 a month or $31,095. And always get peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Also 75 months, 500 military rebate. Sport NUO 19221, MSRP 26845. Eclipse PC 005115, MSRP 29380. Outlander NZO 86720, MSRP 31595. PF 695. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/22. Dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Feel it.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah. Third hour upon us, Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I am Gabe. He is Stats. Brian Dakes, of course, in the producer's booth, producing the program today. Family, we're family and fun. Come together. Now let's go ahead and bring in Evan Barnes, joining us via the phone line at Evan_B on Twitter. Covers Tiger football for the Commercial Appeal. Evan, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How y'all doing?
I'm doing well. Football program is 2 weeks in a row though now. Lost games, just inexplicably get up to these big leads, and then they gack them away, and they lose very close. 3 points in 2 weeks is all that it has been. And Evan, when you're gauging the fan base, and I think you probably have a similar thought process here as I do. Last year, 6-6, no one wanted it to end that way, but there was sort of a split of let's give Ryan Silverfield more time. Let's, let him move out of the COVID times and move into more normal times. And there's sort of built-in excuses there to a certain extent, and then there was other half saying, hey, fire him now, let's move on, he's not the guy. I feel like that first faction of the fan base is running out at a rapid speed.
Yeah, I think there are some people who are very concerned about where the program is heading, and they should be. I mean, it's not just losing 2 games in this fashion in a row, it's losing 4 games like this over the last 2 years. It's the fan attendance at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. It's the product on the field not being as exciting as it was in years past. It's the defense that is regressing, in ways to where you don't have Quindell Johnson on the field, and you're not going to have him on the field next year, obviously. A Quindell Johnson-less defense got shredded by East Carolina as they've been all year. So it looks right now, the loss wasn't just a loss. The loss was a feeling of, if you're a Memphis fan, you're probably wondering where the program is going. And you would hope that this year would kind of be a sense of either the program going in the right direction or not. But right now, you have to be worried going into this Tulane game. The program is headed the wrong way for the second year in a row after a loss like this.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Silverfield just re-upped, just had an additional year added to his contract, correct?
Yeah, so that year was added in 2020. We obviously reported that out, earlier this year, but that was added back in 2020. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Evan, on coaches, on Ryan Silverfield specifically, this is the subject matter. So many people now, I didn't hear that many people saying it then, but a lot of people now are saying shouldn't have been hired. It was heat of the moment, happy, Cotton Bowl festivities, etc. He shouldn't have been hired. I didn't hear any of that then. It was very little examination of that hire. It was more or less pretty much endorsed by all. Let's say, never mind was he ready or should he have been hired. Can it be both things? We know he'd never been a head coach, but right hire that just hadn't worked out. Could it be that?
Time will tell. Time will tell, Brett. I think the question right now people have to ask is, you brought up a good point. Was the hire a decision that was, can be second guessed? I don't know. And I'm never in the interest of, as the beat writer, I don't feel it's my place to publicly discuss whether or not somebody, his job's on, job should be fired or whatever. I think that's the delicate line I can't cross. But I will say this. There were some questions where obviously, the Ryan Silverfield was, seen as one of the popular picks for that job. Mm-hmm. And there were certainly other candidates that were in the mix that people, I believe it's already been out there that I believe Dan Lanning, the former linebackers coach, was a candidate. He was a candidate for that job. it's a question where I think people are looking at it closely now because of the body of work. It's a question of, it may have seemed like the right decision at the time, but all decisions for coaching hires are determined not the day that you win the press conference. They're determined by the body of work that happens afterwards. I mean, I would sure, Stats, you probably know this better than me. When Larry Porter was hired, I'm sure there were probably some people who were happy that one of the great Tigers of all time came back to help the program, but that didn't go so well. So
I was for Larry getting that job.
Sure, okay, and nobody would have blamed you in 2010 or 2009 when Larry was hired after that. Larry was hired after the 2009 season, I'm sure. So I think the question is, the hire, you don't judge the hire based on what people felt in the moment. You judge it based on the body of work. And I think right now there are a lot of people who are probably wondering, what, if the season goes out the way it is, they're going to have a lot more questions about the hiring process. But again, that will be determined maybe over the next month or so. But right now, it's clear that there will be fans who are going to be questioning a lot of things right now after this latest collapse.
And Evan, that's the thing. It's the biggest frustration is these massive leads, 17-0 this time, and you just sort of let them get back into the game. And I always think there is a delicate line between learning how to win and learning how to lose in close games. And this team has consistently lost these close games, and there were multiple opportunities to win. I mean, you look at that second OT, the play that they dialed up on the run play, the third OT, just make a tackle on Keaton Mitchell, who was fantastic in the second half. I have to give Keaton Mitchell his credit. He was very, very good. There was the 3rd and 2 early in East Carolina's go-ahead TD drive where they didn't get a review, and that was an interesting call there, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it's just these little things, multiple opportunities in every game, even in the Houston game. Everything seems to go away from the Tigers, get away from the Tigers late in games, and it is a trend that is impossible to ignore at this point.
Yeah, and what we asked Ryan Silva today, just kind of like, what obviously it's the same thing we asked last week. Is what do you think the reason is? And he thinks it's about execution, it's about details not being followed. I go back to Tim Cramsey a couple weeks ago, the OC, using the word details like 30 times in his availability. What it comes down to is, again, execution is details, but at some point, if it's not being done, I think it's a question of, can it be done? Because, there's going to be fans, if Memphis gets a lead against Tulane, there will be questions, okay, how comfortable should they feel? If Memphis is up by 20, if Memphis is up by 30, because clearly a lead under 17 doesn't give anybody sense to have comfort. Like, people are probably going to sweat bullets this entire weekend just because that game is going to be such a tight contest. So I would be really, Gabe, I'm not sure. Like, it's something that has to be learned. Like, I think about the 2018 team. That team had to learn to finish games, and that team learned how to do better in 2019. I even think about the Grizzlies. When I covered them in 2021, there were games they would lose, that they won in 21-22 before I left the beat. And you can see how that experience pays off, but for some reason it hasn't paid off yet for the Tigers. So it's a concern where the players and the coaches are all saying, hey, they want to figure it out. They want to figure it out. They're motivated to figure it out. But right now it doesn't look like they are, because clearly the mistakes keep adding up and fans are going to worry.
It's a results business.
Yep. In the end of the day, and 4-3 is not the results that this fan base, that this program has become used to. It's substantially better than that. And you see moments where this team looks good, looks fantastic, and then you just know at some point it's going to unravel on them, and that's just what it has been.
The best football may have been played in these last two games
against teams with pulses, and it's a frustrating feeling. Now, real quick, on that no catch by C.J. Johnson. It really was no catch if you look at the review. I know that you've been looking into the explanation and what Ryan Silverfield has provided you. What's the feel on what happened there? Sort of the referees making a mistake, then they got it reviewed, it looked like, by the replay officials, and the replay officials may have made a mistake. Is that sort of the crux of the mistake there?
So when Ryan told us today that he tried to he wanted to get it reviewed, the referee said that they already reviewed it and it was a catch in their mind. Ryan at that point could not do anything about it because he was told that it was a catch. And by the NCAA rule book, as I wrote today, a coach can call timeout to ask for a play to be viewed again. But once the replay official says the play is what it is, you cannot, you can't challenge a ruling where the game in which the game was stopped and the decision was already made by a replay official. The game was stopped at that point because there was an injury timeout. I believe Cameron Smith was on the turf for a while, and then I guess during that time, Ryan tried to ask for a replay or something. He was told that they had already reviewed it, and they didn't see that that's what Ryan did.
So specifically went to the replay officials, and still the ruling held.
Well, he went to the referee on the field. Like, obviously, the referee on the field is who he went to. The referee was told that the replay official didn't look at, they had looked at the play and they said it was a catch. And once the decision was made, they can't go back to it because, again, the rule book says that a coach cannot challenge a ruling, and I'm reading this verbatim, in which the game was stopped and the decision has already been made. The only thing that could be challenged is another aspect of the play. So that's kind of where that situation is.
So certainly this is one that the AAC officiating crew, it's going to have to be sent into the league, I would imagine, correct?
I mean, if it is, I guess if that pleases anybody, it's not going to of course. Game, like,
a little unfulfilling.
But to me, it's like if you want to embarrass that crew, sure, go ahead and send it in there. But it's like, hey, your crew didn't miss this call, but it's not going to do the thing that people want, which is overturn the game. And that play on 3rd and 2 was crucial because that was the drive that ECU scored to take the lead before Seth Hennigan drove Memphis down the field. So there was a lot on that. And you could probably say that was, again, the refs made a mistake on that play. But as Gabe, you know this and I know this too. There were a lot of reasons why Memphis let that game go away. I think you mentioned it. The second down, the 2-point conversion, the second overtime, that stands out to me as Memphis makes that, you win the game, and no one's talking about it.
Undoubtedly. I also think, and I think really, with that review, I don't know exactly how it went down. Only that's between the coaching staff, Ryan Silverfield, and everybody else. I'm ready to put that on the coaching staff as well. You got to push for a review in that situation to make sure that play does not stand up, because that's a difference between getting the ball, ECU punting it on their own 33 and them driving down for the go-ahead touchdown. That is a crucial point in the game that you have to fight for a review if you're not going to get it immediately.
Yeah, and I think if fans feel that way, then for sure. That's kind of where I think a lot of people can look at. But I think in Ryan's thought process, he did all that he could do once he was told that they couldn't review it. So if he, threw his headphones, threw a fit, maybe there's more. Maybe you call timeout. I think that probably would have been the other option, is you call timeout to say, hey, try to review it. That would have been the only thing. But again, it's unfortunate that that's something else that marred what was already a tough game to begin with. That's another thing that people are going to look at and say, hey, there's a mistake here that the officials made. That it was a high stakes moment in a game that ultimately hinged on so many things.
Evan, in this case, the thought really is not doesn't count. You can send it in and you can lambaste the officiating crew, but it's still, the damage done. I think I know the answer to this. How important is this road trip to Tulane, going into the open date and then having 3 straight home games? We know for buzz, for crowd, it's important. Road trip at Ullman on Saturday.
It's probably even more important now than the ECU game. That ECU game was important because I thought that was probably the one game of the next 3 that you probably could win. Now you're facing a Tulane team that's ranked, that's going to be fired up at home for their homecoming. It's the first time they've been ranked since that 98 perfect season that they had. They're going to be fired up. You can sit here and say, well, Tulane doesn't get a great crowd or whatever, but they have reason to be excited. And I think that also is a team that has a great defense. Like their defense shut down that ECU team that you gave up 47 points to. So it's important because if you lose that game, not only are you on your second year in a row with a 3-game losing streak, you're 4-4. You have to basically, win 2 of the next 4 games after that to be bowl eligible after the bye week. you're looking at a situation where, you know, the crowd for that UCF game is going to be really interesting. Like, you may lose that. If you lose that game to Tulane, you might lose more people who might show up for that UCF game. I mean, it's basically a game where you are trying to save your program to keep it relevant when the Grizzlies are starting up this week, when Tigers basketball, I believe, has their first exhibition on Sunday. You have to win that game to basically keep people interested without losing them completely. Like, 2018, I was here when they were 4-4. People were checked out. People were not sure what was going to happen, and we know what happened with that team. I'm not saying this Memphis team is can do a similar thing, like that 18 team when they won 4 games in a row and went to the ACC championship. But if you lose this game, you're going to have a lot more people groaning and moaning that you've lost. I believe that would be what? 3-6 last year for 3-0, 4-4. That would be what, 7-11 or 7-10? 7-10 in your last 17 games. Yeah, that would be cause for concern. And by the way, it'll be another road loss, which again, Memphis is still not beating a road team, not named Navy in the AAC under Ryan Silverfield. So a lot is at stake.
Besides late game decision making, late game mistakes, what actively can the Tigers do coming out against Tulane to change their fortunes? And one thing that I have noticed through the past couple of weeks, definitely this past week against ECU, Joe Skate's certainly a guy that this second half of the season could come along and be a main figure in the offense.
I think that's one thing they're going to need. They're going to need Joe Skates to be more consistent. Somebody asked Ryan Silverfield about him today after his big game, and Silverfield basically laid out what I would have said. He has the big playability, but he also has 2 fumbles, so he has to be able to be more consistent and maybe be that deep threat that can spread the field a little bit more. Because Memphis right now just doesn't have anybody else besides that outside of pre-scoring. So I think you definitely would like to see him be key. I also think for Tulane, at this point, you would say start fast, but they've already done that the last 2 weeks. You would say finish strong. Memphis has done that, against Temple and a few other teams. They need to play a complete game, and that means they have to come out basically aggressive from the jump, aggressive near the middle, and aggressive near the end. Like, for the whole game, play as if you have everything to lose, but not play tight, if that makes sense. Like,
Gold star game of the year. It's time.
Play as if you have everything to lose this week, instead of basically trying to, do pie in the sky and hope be hopeful. Play as if you have everything to lose, but play with a focus, because this Tulane team, as Ryan Silverfield said, they've been consistent all year. They only lost to Southern Miss. They've been a consistent team, and you're going to have to match that consistency with urgency and being effective. Sort
of similar to that game last year against SMU late in the season. You had to have it, and they went out and they got it, even though nobody thought they could, even on their home turf. With Tulane, though, real quick, last thing. I know what their resume is, and you have to give them credit for that. 6-1, number 25 now in the AP poll. Good for them. It was very good for Willie Fritz. What is the real Tulane, though? They had that loss against Southern Miss, sort of inexplicable. Win against Kansas State. Win against Houston. They shut down East Carolina. Last week, though, they go to South Florida and defensively didn't hold up as well and sort of let South Florida stay in that game. And South Florida, again, credit where credit's due, they've stayed in games against good teams. But do you feel like we've seen do we get the full picture of who Tulane is as a team? What exactly are they to you?
Well, Tulane to me is a team. First of all, if you look at their numbers, they are 10th in scoring defense. 10th in passing defense, 11th in scoring defense. What they have shown themselves to be is a team that is very good at defending the ball, and that's kind of where I think they've hung their hat on. Is they're an aggressive unit that's able to make plays that cause trouble. Again, they gave ECU all they could handle. And shutting them down. I think South Florida, who gave Cincinnati a tough game the other day, played inspired, and you give them credit for that. But I saw the second half; they did not look that they could hold up. So I think that's what you can expect from Tulane: a defense that's aggressive, that's going to be very, very tough in the secondary, and that's kind of where Memphis has to be effective, because right now they're not running the ball. So it's going to be a real big test for this Memphis passing game to find holes against this Tulane defense, because if they can't put up points, again, they're going to be in trouble. So I think Tulane is absolutely legit. You give them credit. And it's going to be a tough task for Memphis in a place where they've lost their last 2 trips down there.
Yep, and we will see because they need it desperately. I mean, this is as must win as it gets for Ryan Silverfield and this team. But Evan, always appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all take care.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Evan. Be safe going to New Orleans. It should be a lot of Tiger fans down there. Always is when the Tigers play anything down in New Orleans. And like Evan said, a really big game for Tulane at their homecoming. Gabe, I still don't know how they lost to Southern Miss. They should be, could be undefeated.
That
was inexplicable.
I just don't get like their resume. I mean, for let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, you see it. The win against Houston, the win against East Carolina, but that Southern Miss game and that South Florida game, it's just bizarre. Bizarre and inexplicable. They didn't lose to South Florida.
And that's been the knock on Willie Fritz.
Yeah, but South Florida, the inconsistency. South Florida is not a good offensive football team, and they let them.
Sounds
they
familiar,
let them gash
doesn't
pretty
it?
good. Huh?
We hear a lot of that here about the Tigers.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar. The goods kind of at the top
great.
of the EKG and in the bad's not. What is great, our title sponsor this hour, that's DeSoto Auto Sales. Every day they bring you this hour at 5704 Goodman Road. They're also online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience you've come to know, love, and really trust. All the cars test-driven at DeSoto Auto Sales, all checked out bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory. Every make, every model you can think of. If by chance they don't have it, they'll find it for you. You'll be treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere. They care about your time, though, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today that's really busy. Hustle and bustle. Time matters. That's why you find the car you want, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee at DeSoto Auto Sales. Go online and check out all the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com or get down to 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we have Monday Night Football to talk about. Broncos, who have disappointed in a massive, massive way, versus the Chargers. We'll see if Russell Wilson can get on track because it has been a tough going for him. We'll do that. We'll make a pick, and we'll also get to our 4 all-time favorites from both those teams. On the other side, right here on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, Mid-South, I've got Jeff Allen on the phone at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. Hey, Jeff, what's shaking?
We are making our customers happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah. How about this? 2023 Kia Sorento LX all-wheel drive for just $257 per month. 36-month lease, $29.99 due at signing. And I've got a 2023 Kia Sportage LX front-wheel drive, $287 per month. 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing.
Well, I'm feeling happy, Jeff.
And if you don't see what you want, no problem. I'll order exactly what you want, and you won't pay over MSRP at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. Seltos P738-6423, MSRP 25325, K5 950-6883, MSRP 26860, PF 695. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/2022 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday Night Report free on a recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. Denver, Los Angeles, side and total. Denver, Los Angeles. Critical information confirmed. Plus Thursday, New Orleans, Arizona, and Saturday's early releases. 5 big plays, John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0 free on a recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins John Anthony Sports #1 against the spread. Denver, Los Angeles, a monster. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want information? I've got it. I love to go 5-0 with the season free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to JohnAnthonySports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Ram Power Days and Jeep Adventure Days are on at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike. Are you ready for a new ride but can't seem to find just what you're looking for? No worries. Stop by, pick your ride, and Gossett will get it ordered just for you. No hassles, no extra charges, no market adjustments. Pay no more than MSRP at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Plus 22 Jeep Compass Latitude 4x4, we Gossett $419 a month. And 22 Dodge Charger SXT, we Gossett $479 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.10% APR, $39.99 down. Charger NH204733, MSRP $35,485. Compass NT206592, MSRP $32,825. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's talk some numbers here.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
I used to feel so devastated.
Back in. 30 minutes left on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe E. Stats. Listener line is there for you. 901-360-8255. Also watch us live and message us on our social, Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. 30 more minutes. Hit us up. Now, Monday Night Football tonight. Chargers versus the Broncos. Broncos have to visit L.A. Again, whenever it comes to a fan, when it's a fan perspective, at SoFi for the Chargers, I always assume that the other team is going to draw pretty well compared to Chargers fans. That's just how it is there. Two teams, and I think most of them like the Rams there in L.A. But as far as the injury report is concerned, I believe at this point Keenan Allen is still questionable. And for the Broncos, they actually have some good news. They got to activate Justin Simmons, but they will be without Garrett Bowles, and they will be without Ronald Darby on the defensive side of the ball. I am sort of out on Russell Wilson at this point in the season, Brett. I don't know about you, but I have not
I'm out on these two coaches tonight.
That's true, but I have not seen
Coach Knucklehead on display tonight. Yeah. What will they do?
But I have not seen anything from Russell Wilson that that could get that team really going. Get them off the mat right this second. On the other side, though,
Hackett and Staley aren't air traffic controllers. They'd have the whole thing messed up.
And listen, I don't like either of these guys, but at least on one side, Brandon Staley has that guy number 10. He saves everything.
The next
for
big
the Chargers. He saves everything. And I hate it for him because I feel like they'll lose games they're not supposed to, and he deserves better than that. But
early must win for both.
I think a lot more needed for the Broncos. A lot more needed for the Broncos just to prove that in their division they can win a game and do it relatively comfortably. They have been awful this year offensively, and that was what they were trying to improve. And I don't see that much of a – you thought going from Drew Lock to Russell Wilson would be a substantial difference. You thought that would – okay, that offense is unlocked now. They're ready to go. It hasn't been any better. It's been worse in some places.
45.5 over under. That's screaming under, isn't it?
I would say so, based on what we've seen from the Broncos, but you never know if the Chargers are just going to unload tonight offensively. And the Broncos have held up well until now, but again, that quarterback on the Charger side is indefensible.
One of a kind.
He's indefensible in a lot of ways. Now, as far as picks are concerned, this is going to be bizarre because the Chargers are 4-point favorites at home. You'd think the line would be a little bit bigger. I know that the Broncos have played close games so far, but just on paper, the Chargers have been the better team this year. But 4-point favorites. So we're going to play it at 4.5, I take it, Brett?
Yes, we do. We tack on the half. We don't push. College on Saturday, I was 4-2. Gabe was 2-4. Bryant was 2-4. Pro on Sunday, I was 3-2. Gabe was 2-3. Bryant was 2-3. But Gabe got there with his straight up shock pick with Atlanta, and I got there straight up shock pick with the Steelers that went off money line plus 350.
How is that possible? Like honestly, how did that happen?
NFL.
How did the
you want more than that from me though, don't you?
How did the Buccaneers end up beating or losing to the Steelers
with Mitch Mitchell?
When the Steelers lost poor Kenny to a concussion, I can't believe it. And Tom Brady, not a good look going after his O-line on the sideline.
Really bad look. I'm going crazy tomorrow about it.
I mean, I get his offense and his offensive line is not that good, but you have the entire.
Hey Tom, we were in camp in August. Hey Tom, we were at the mandatory walkthrough on Friday while you were at big game Bobby Kraft's wedding.
But also, by the way, married a 47-year-old.
Yeah.
Shout out, she's an ophthalmologist. I learned. Boy. What's her name? Come on, you have to have it off the top. Doctor.
I don't have it.
She goes by Dr. Dana Blumberg. Dr. Dana Blumberg, married to Robert Kraft, 81 to 47.
I hope he's got a good prenup.
Wow. Well,
his kids hope he has a good prenup.
Yeah, but it was a big weekend for the Pats though. 325th win, passing George Halas for second all time for Bill Belichick.
You think Belichick went to the wedding?
I don't. He was the one name I didn't see actually in attendance. He was game planning. Are you kidding me?
Of course he was. That's where Tom Brady should have been.
Yeah.
And those offensive linemen he was berating should tell him that.
For Tom Brady, also, you knew you were coming into the year with this. You lost Ryan Jensen. You lost Aaron Stinney immediately during camp. Like, you have a bunch of young guys in there. I mean, you can go off on them all you want. It doesn't make them any better.
To those
They're
guys,
backups.
to those guys he was berating. You know what his resume means? That means great on the day you get inducted into Canton. Today, we're worried about this game.
I thought he sort of embarrassed himself.
Chargers, 4.5. Who do you take, Bryant?
I'm going to take the Broncos.
Okay. All right.
Gabe?
A little Monday Night Football magic. I'm going to take the Chargers minus 4.5. You know how I feel about Justin Herbert.
I'm with you. I'm taking the Chargers.
Now,
all-time Big Four. We've already done Denver, so this is really 5 through 8
I have
for
a
me.
tie. You're going to hate me.
That's fine. It was such a great weekend. I can't hate anything.
Gotcha.
Peyton, Atwater, Elway, Davis, my first four. So this is my 5 through 8 next favorite four. And I mentioned it when we did it the first time, the late, great Demaryius Thomas from Georgia Tech. Second, so I guess 6th, Shannon Sharp. 7th, number 44 from Syracuse, Floyd Little. And then the old linebacker from Ohio State, Randy Gradishar.
So I don't – Randy Gradishar, really? Good ball player?
Oh, real
Great
good.
ball player. Okay.
Yeah.
My 5 through 8 for the Broncos. I do not have a tie in this. I have a tie for the Chargers, though. 5, I go with the big stink, Mark Schlereth. Number 6, give me Demaryius Thomas. Number 7, give me John Elway. And give me number 8, John Lynch.
Oh, that's real good. Right?
So I have 8 Eric Decker, 7 Brandon Thomas, 6 Paxton Lynch. Oh, Memphis guy.
There we go.
And then number 5,
Okay.
Tim Tebow.
You know, number 5, Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow.
Oh, God.
He once threw a famous pass to Demaryius Thomas.
You're right.
All right, Chargers.
There's still people out there that think he would have been a fantastic NFL quarterback if he just would have been able to stay a Bronco. You know, there's
I'm
still
glad those people aren't in charge of my life.
Yeah, you know, those people are still out there.
That's good. That's good.
Good
I'm
for
glad
them.
those people.
I'm glad
they exist. Stay way over there apart from me.
You know what they say? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
That's it, Gabe. You got that right. For the Chargers, me, number 1 all-time Charger from Arkansas, from Brookhaven, Mississippi, to the Chargers, to the Hall of Fame. Lance Allworth, number 2 for me. He wasn't a great Charger, but I love him so much. All-time favorite Razorback, no doubt. And I am sad to report, I understand, going through a lot of dementia and things like that. Billy Ray Smith, Jr. And then for number 3, LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. And number 4, sadly, another late great Hall of Famer, Junior Seau.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. He's on my list, too. I'm going to start with number 4. This is where my tie is. And this guy, the fact that he's already top 4 for me after watching him play for a few short years is pretty crazy. But I have Sean Merriman first, and I threw in Justin Herbert as a tie for 4th for me. I
almost went Herbert.
I can't help it. I know
His preemptive strike.
I know Phillip Rivers is there, and he has the full career worth of numbers. But Justin
wouldn't
Herbert,
have him in my top 100
with the team around him, with this coach he has right now, what he's been able to accomplish is pretty substantial. Number 3, I go Antonio Gates. Number 2, rest in peace, Junior Seau. And just I just hate sort of the poster child at this point of what CTE can do if you play too long. And I just he was a fantastic player and a good guy for a while. And obviously CTE deteriorated who he was and his brain and everything else. Just sad stuff. And number 1, I go LaDainian Tomlinson. Give me him. He was unstoppable. I mean, and I think back to the Norv Turner days.
He was at TCU.
And I think about this, Brett. Those rosters that the Chargers put together for all those years, Phillip Rivers, LT, Antonio Gates. I mean, they were Sean Merriman on those teams. They were fantastic. They were great, but never could get over the hump. That's just who the Chargers have been since their existence.
I'll be honest, not a huge Chargers fan growing up, so
Okay.
list a little off. Number 4, Manti Te'o. Number 3, Antonio Gates.
Okay.
Number 2, Phillip Rivers.
Okay.
And then number 1, LT.
Okay, good.
That's a good list, though.
Manti Te'o.
Te'o gets a little shaky, but it's your list.
Come on,
Come
he
on,
was a
man.
great player. Notre Dame,
Oh,
and then a couple of
gosh.
years in
Manti
San
Te'o.
Diego.
Shall we say a legend in his own mind?
That's right.
There was a lot of things in his own
Not a
mind.
lot. I mean, big imagination.
You guys are mean. You guys are mean.
No, I'm just.
people.
I mean, it's facts.
Have you guys seen the Untold?
Saw the first episode.
You seen the Untold on Netflix? Well, Brett doesn't have
Brett
Netflix.
doesn't.
I wasn't
He
told
won't
about
log
it.
in, and he won't log in on mine.
I wasn't told about the Untold.
It's good. It's very good on Manti Te'o. So it makes you feel bad for all you said about him back in the day. Because I remember the
Or
things I was
45 seconds ago.
that too.
Yeah.
But he really got duped, is what it sounds like.
He did. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is I'm always finding new players or game props that I just love. And tonight you can pick those out. What's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout, and that's perfect for tonight's Monday Night Football matchup. Justin Herbert, we love him to go over the passing yards. Austin Eckler, an anytime touchdown, or Jerry Jeudy to go over receiving yards. Russell Wilson to go under his passing yards. Same game parlay, just one of the many reasons I'll bet with FanDuel. It's easy to register, easy to deposit, and when you win, FanDuel, they pay you your winnings fast. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in your bet right now for tonight's game on at FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code SPORTS56. That's promo code SPORTS56. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Before we get to our final break and to talk about crunch time, a couple of things on wide receivers in the NFL. Panthers' Robbie Anderson kicked off the sideline for having beef with the interim coaching staff, so he's no longer part of the Panthers. The interim coaching staff
fired him,
took him off the sideline, and immediately traded him to the Cardinals. And that'll be useful for the Cardinals, I guess, although they're underachieving. But Hollywood,
they didn't give up anything to get him.
Well, Hollywood Brown, I think, might be out for the year potentially, is what they're thinking because of his foot. Also, did you see the Elijah Moore drama? Well, sort of pseudo-drama, not really crazy. But Rich Cimini, who covers the team, covers the Jets, of course, says of all the eye-popping stats, factoids today, this one is hard to understand. Elijah Moore got 0 targets. Elijah Moore then quote tweeted it and said, "If I say what I really want to say, I'll be the selfish guy. We're winning. I'm grateful. It's a huge blessing. All I ever wanted. Bittersweet for me, but I'll be solid. So I'll just stay quiet. Just know I don't understand either." So I don't know what's going on there.
The Jets with a big win.
Yeah, big win, 4-2. Probably a better thing left untweeted. I'll say that. Probably a better thing to just keep in the drafts. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about my new favorite player in college football as we get to talk about crunch time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
You already know that 117 Prime is Memphis's premier downtown dining destination, and you probably know that Prime prides itself on its wine selection. Well, now you can add award-winning wine selection. 117 Prime was recently given the Award of Excellence from Wine Spectator magazine, the most respected publication in the business. The Wine Spectator Restaurant Award celebrates the world's best restaurants for wine. So now, not only can you say that your dinner at 117 Prime was world-class, you can back it up with the Wine Spectator's opinion.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Hall of Famer and all-time leading rusher with exciting news.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, Emmitt Smith wants to introduce you to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in biologic treatment for pain. I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself. No medications, no surgeries, no downtime.
If you have pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders, don't assume the old treatments are the only treatments. Learn more about how you can get lasting relief with biologic treatments that can repair and restore damaged tissue.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain. Play golf without pain, walk upstairs without pain, play with your kids and grandkids without pain, get back on your job without pain, live your life pain-free. Call QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswangerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Rich Eisen Johnson here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. We close out Week 6 with AFC West action from Southern California. Chargers hosting the Broncos. Justin Herbert and the Bolts are looking for their third straight win after an exciting down-to-the-wire W over the Browns last week. Now they face Russell Wilson and a Broncos squad hoping to break a 2-game skid on Monday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill in the morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey Memphis, I'm Regina Moore, owner of Chef Flavors. Born and raised in the 901, I have so much pride for my city. So, my husband and I created a product Memphis can be proud of. Our award-winning spinach artichoke dip will hit Walmart shelves starting Monday, October 17th, and we need your help clearing the main. Let's show Walmart how Memphis come together for their own. Unlock the inner chef in you with Chef Flavors.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
I couldn't believe it either, but that thing runs like new.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
My nail tech knows how to keep it a little secret. I don't wish for my success, I speak it. I caught a buzz and you did too.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, I have a new favorite player and a new favorite Twitter in college football, and it's Sean Tucker, the Syracuse running back. You can find him on Twitter at Sean Tucker 2020. But
undefeated Orange.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Undefeated Orange. They're number 14 in the country at 6-0. They won 24-9 over NC State. And this is the first time they've started 6-0 since 1987, and third time they've started 6-0 since 1935. So there's a lot of reasons to celebrate. But Sean Tucker and his Twitter, it's fantastic. And he's sort of the Magic Johnson of college football Twitter. He had a tweet the other day after their win against NC State. Saturday we won, Syracuse 24, NC State 9. I'm pleased with the outcome of the game and how our fans rocked the dome. 6-0, but we're not done. I'm pleased with my performance, but there's more I can do. The grind never stops, nor will number 34, 14 carries, 98 yards, and TD, 4 receptions and 14 yards. And he seems to start every post-game tweet the same way. Let me go down to this one. Saturday we won, Syracuse 59, Wagner 0. I'm pleased with the outcome of the game. Friday we won, Syracuse 22, Virginia 20. I'm pleased with the outcome of the game. I don't know if that's
Master of the obvious.
I don't know if that's his style on Twitter, or he's a little superstitious and he keeps going with it after the game. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But Sean Tucker, go follow him immediately.
I will. I learned that the Yankees, Dodgers, and Braves can join the chat room with the Cardinals, all done. 111 wins for the Dodgers, and it doesn't mean jack now. And for Dave Roberts, he sure doesn't do much in October, well, except for that bubble year. Nothing more asterisk-laden and meaningless in the history of sport than the Dodgers' little bubble short season 2020 title. It makes the Lakers' 2020 title look legitimate. Dodgers are big frauds.
Ooh, Brett. I hear you. But we have an all-wild card weekend in LCS. That's fantastic. I love it. I literally love it. I wouldn't have minded. Like, Braves I'm okay with. Even though they won last year, I'm okay with the Braves. Phillies getting through doesn't really make much to me. But to see the Padres,
go Phillies. I don't care who wins. I'm looking forward to it.
To see the Padres beat the Dodgers, just fantastic. Gotta love it. Now, what I could have done without, I've mentioned on the show today, but the field goal posts getting put into the Tennessee River. Tennessee knew that would happen. The higher-ups of Tennessee knew that would happen if they won the game. And they go on and they start a GoFundMe.
Times are tough, Gabe.
GoFundMe.
There's no money around college
Started
sports.
a fundraiser, $150,000 to replace them, and $100,000 was the fine they have to pay to the SEC. Whatever. $50,000. There's no chance that it costs $50,000 to get new goalposts. But the thing that cracks me up is how much do you think they got for all the fans to get through the door on Saturday? 10 times that? I mean, good Lord. You could probably
That's
pay
not
it
how
off.
we do accounting, though, Gabe.
You could pay it off with a gate fee, and you're asking your fan base to pay $150,000. I just thought that was goofy in the worst way. Now, I'm going to have to check before we get out of here today. I want to see how much they've actually raised to this point.
About $35,000 was the last time I saw it.
Okay.
But I am genuinely happy for a lot of Tennessee fans. No doubt about it. Tennessee's back. Could have done without Tom Brady chewing out his offensive line and really laying into him. Hey, look, they were there in August when you took your time away. They were there on Friday when you went to Bob Kraft's wedding. Bad look for him. Real bad look for Tom Brady. I don't think this year even ends in the playoffs for the Buccaneers.
Also, I could have done without speaking of teams at the top of the NFC that might be dying a slow, painful death. You look at the Rams, just lost their left tackle, their starting left tackle, Joe Noteboom, out for the year with an Achilles.
That was already thin.
That was already bad, and he was not playing all that well, but without him, my gosh, the Rams are headed down.
Do you approach Whitworth coming out of retirement? Is he in any shape?
I'm sure he's in shape. I mean, he played for about 20 years, and he looks. I mean, he's on Amazon's on Thursday Night Football. He looks like he's in fine shape, but I don't know if he wants to come back. He won his Super Bowl. He went out on top.
That's right.
That's right. And what I'm looking forward to tonight, obviously Monday Night Football. Ready to see if this. What we thought going into the year, this massive quarterback matchup can actually live up to the hype that we thought it would be.
What shenanigans will Hackett and Staley pull off tonight? The disaster awaits with those two.
Yes, it really does. But we have a bunch
last game of the year for either Cleveland or the Yankees. And how about this? We'll talk about it more as the week wears on. Dome Stadium coming to Nashville. Final Four, Super Bowls, college football playoffs. Damn Nashville.
Yeah. A bunch of hockey too. Have you watched any hockey games yet this year?
Not a shot.
Oh dang!
Check with me come playoff time.
Hey, my Blues are 1-0. Got a win on Saturday against Columbus.
I'm sorry to
win them all unless you start
1-0. Wednesday is Gabe hate day, by the way.
Wait, what do you mean?
Blues play Kraken, so it's Gabe hate day here in the production room.
That's gonna be
It'll
great.
be on.
I mean, it'll be a blowout. Blues are gonna kill them.
You're probably right. No, you're absolutely right. No,
won't even be close.
Right.
Come on. See, look at this. Already defeat. It's going to be a weak Gabe hate day, isn't it? If this is any preview,
our favorite kind of day.
I hope we lose every game. I want to get the number one pick.
But that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Asa Martin, David Cobb, to Michael Cole, and Evan Barnes for their contributions to today's show. But for Brian, for Brett, I'm Gabe. Be easy. Stay safe. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78.